pot that I had for
anything
porridge.
to avoid chatting.
I cleaned the coffee cup and I went to the toilet and washed my hands because you didn't wash your hands.
Right, okay.
See, I just want to give you a wee bit of space.
You must have to dash off, do you?
I do have a few things on the plate.
All right, okay. Well, I won't.
How can you tell? Can you? I have the top on me, jacket on, ready to go. Boom,
Okay.
boom, bye bye.
We shan't delay you any further.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Greg.
the rest of your Monday. Okay, 9 till noon show coming up. Let's get a news update first, of course, though, and it's over to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. Investigations are underway into an alleged sexual assault of a resident with an intellectual disability at a nursing home in Donegal. It's understood the woman was assaulted by another resident at the private nursing home on May the 15th. However, the incident was not reported to her family until 2 days later. Gardaí have confirmed they are investigating and say no further information is available at this time. Donegal Deputy Thomas Pringle says the aim of the Brandon report, which detailed incidents of sexual abuse at Ardnagrange Courts Order, was to ensure measures were put in place to mitigate against such assaults. He says those responsible for the woman being placed in the facility must be held to account.
Brandon was supposed to bring an end to this kind of carry on, and it was supposed to show that things had changed, and the HSE were supposed to make the changes to make it happen. But we've seen that the HSE even refused to publish the Brandon report and refused to actually act in relation to it, and that is where we've ended up with this situation. Unfortunately, I do hope that the Gardaí will give this a full investigation and look to see who actually put the patient there as well, as because they will have some culpability in relation to what happened.
A special meeting of Donegal County Council is being held today. Members will consider whether to publish the County Donegal Development Plan or to make amendments. A decision on publishing the draft document was deferred at the end of last month after councillors from the Letterkenny Milford Municipal District asked that more time be given to consider elements of the plan relating to the MD area. Members of the Glenties Municipal District at the last plenary meeting of Donegal County Council also put forward a proposal calling for a change in policy to allow planning along the N56. Meanwhile, concerns continue also to be raised around the residential zoned land tax. The government is facing criticism as it gets ready to discuss Irish neutrality at consultative forums this week. President Michael D. Higgins has accused it of a drift in its foreign policy and says Ireland must avoid burying itself in other people's agendas. He's been interviewed by the Business Post ahead of the forums in Dublin, Cork and Galway. Social Democrats TD Gary Gannon is backing the president's stance.
The Irish state has, since their foundation, been neutral, but we've never been indifferent. I think the President captured those sentiments quite well yesterday. And I think he's speaking very much on behalf of the Irish people. 4 out of 5 Irish people value our position of neutrality. They want to see it protected. So there has been some rhetoric coming from particular viewpoints in politics that I don't think are reflective of the Irish people.
Finally, for weather, dry with some sunny spells this morning as showers develop in the afternoon and evening. Highest temperatures of 18 to 22 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with news again at 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
At On Post, we believe in giving you more power over how you bank. That's why AIB and Bank of Ireland customers can now lodge and withdraw money at any of our 900 post offices across Ireland 6 days a week. That's right, your bank is in your post office for personal and business banking alike, meaning you can bank wherever you live or work. Visit your local post office or onpost.com/everydaybanking. On Post, your money for your world. Allied Irish Banks plc and Bank of Ireland are regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio. And now it's time for the talk of the Northwest, the 9 to noon show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
And it is a very good Monday morning to you. It's 4 minutes past 9 on this 19th of June 2023. It's a Monday, did I say that? You're very welcome along to another edition of the 9 till noon show. How was your weekend? What do you want to talk about? We've loads coming up on this show. We're going to be struggling to get it all in, but we want your views, your opinions, your experiences. 08660 25,000. 08660 25,000. I expect we will get some feedback on the weekend's events as it relates to the Donegal International Rally. I do know because we've already had some contact from people that this conversation is raising its head again as it relates to noise and interference versus the reward and the benefits. You know what I mean? I think we're always going to have that conversation. But already people looking to have it today, 086 60 25,000, as I said, but seemed to be a really successful event in a sporting sense. And we'll be speaking hopefully to the winners of the Donegal International Rally, the overall winners, a little later on in the programme. That and, as you can imagine, so much more besides. Let's look at the front of the newspapers. The Dairy People Donegal News this morning. It was a very busy weekend for An Garda Síochána, with close to 70 arrests made up to yesterday evening as thousands of visitors flocked to the county for the 51st Donegal International Rally. A significant policing plan, including air support and additional Garda resources from the Northwestern region and national units, were rolled out over the weekend. There were over 60 arrests on Friday and on Saturday, and the breakdown of those arrests are, I can tell you, as follows. Now, there was many thousands of people in, so proportionately, not a lot of problems, really proportionately is what I'm saying, but then some might say, well, if there were more guards, there'd be more arrests. Friday night, there were 10 public order arrests, 6 road traffic arrests and 2 general crime arrests, 18 in total. On Saturday night, 20 public order arrests, 4 for road traffic offences, 11 for intoxicated driving on Saturday night alone, 11 people done for drink driving, 1 general crime, 3 assaults on Saturday night, 3 drugs arrests, 42 in total. So over the course of Friday and Saturday night, 60 arrests there. The Derry News, following the publication of a new report by the Northern Ireland Public Services Ombudsman, it was revealed 99% of GP respondents in the Western Trust considered that trust waiting lists communication with their practice is not effective. It was also found that if a patient is referred to the Western Trust, it's likely that they'll receive an acknowledgement, and the first waiting list correspondence they are likely to receive is a booking appointment letter approximately 6 weeks prior to an expected appointment. On to the nationals now, and you could be in for a bill shock. Around 130,000 households are set to be hit with electricity and gas bill shocks. As they're coming to the end of discount deals, consumers face huge increases in their bills because the high discounts they were receiving have now been withdrawn. The warning comes as leading energy expert Paul Dean of University College Cork said consumers could see small price cuts of between 10 and 20% in autumn. I would say that's quite significant, Paul, with all due respect, but I appreciate your expertise in that area. But you know, give me 20% off my electricity bill this winter, and I would say that's reasonably significant. I'd love to see more, but you know what I mean. He said it takes between 7 and 11 months for lower wholesale energy costs to wash through the system. Wholesale energy costs have come down significantly. This will lead to cuts of between 10 and 20% for consumers later this year. However, energy costs have more than doubled in the last 2 years, with the average home paying around $200,000 a year for electricity. Energy suppliers stopped offering big discounts to attract switchers when wholesale gas and electricity prices started to shoot up. And I noticed that myself because I came to the end of my first year with a company that I'd switched to, and went on switcher websites, did my own research, and unfortunately there was no savings to be made. In fact, the company that I was with was the cheapest, which was quite frustrating. The Irish Times, Tánaiste Micheál Martin has defended the government's planned neutrality debates and said it would be a fundamental mistake to shy away from examining Ireland's defence policy. What do you think about this? We're going to get to the President's suggestions and conversation on this to begin with. My first question would be, we're not shying away from examining Ireland's defence policy. We're shying away from doing it by way of a citizens' council. Why aren't we doing it that way, where it's 100-odd people from across society that would be more reflective of people's views? Instead, they're doing it through a series of sort of town hall type meetings where they decide who's the chairperson, they decide who are the guests, they, to some extent, decide who attends. I was looking through the guest list of speakers at some of these important, in inverted commas, conversations about on neutrality. A lot of military people in there. I don't see, obviously, now I'm open to correction, I don't see anyone who would be anti-war or pro-neutrality that has campaigned in that regard. So if these are debates, let's get all views in there. But I would have thought we established the Citizens' Assembly to discuss such matters. Now, I know some people have some issues with that format itself, but at least it is, as we're told, a representation of the Irish people. We have not asked for a debate on our neutrality, so we're not shying away from it. A debate has been created in a certain way. You couldn't call it a debate, and people are expressing their concerns. So I think we have to be careful with how this is being framed to us. Well, claims by President Michael D. Higgins that Ireland is experiencing a dangerous drift in foreign policy have caused concern at the highest levels of government. Further comments by the President about Louise Richardson, the chair of the forthcoming Consultative Forum, have also caused controversy, with Fine Gael TD and former Minister for Foreign Affairs Charlie Flanagan accusing Mr. Higgins of engaging in an unnecessary and gratuitous attack, which was uncalled for. The President referred to Professor Richardson as a person with a very large DBE, Dame of the British Empire, which is perhaps a little bit harsh, because my understanding is she received that for her work in medicine. But that being said, she has expressed views in the past on the likes of US foreign policy and other types of military or foreign policy, military action type of stuff. So if that's your chair, I don't know. The Irish academic, who was previously Vice-Chancellor of the University of Oxford, is now President of the Carnegie Corporation of New York, a €4.7 billion philanthropic foundation. So as I say, we have a format there that could work that through. If, as I say, we're not asking for this conversation. I think most people are sort of saying, we know where we're at. We're kind of happy where we're at. I don't know. I don't want to either be guilty of trying to steer the conversation myself. But anyway, what do you think? 086 60 25,000. Do you welcome the President's inserting himself in this conversation? Many would say there was previous conversations he could have had a few words about. But anyway, he's decided this is the one for him. And the government don't seem too happy. We're going to be talking about that a little later on in the programme, by the way. He was speaking to the Business Post, and we're going to be speaking to a journalist from that paper later on to tease out his conversations more. But I'm mentioning it now because it's your views, really, that are important. We're going to be discussing this story as well, and it's not this one specifically, but around it, but I'm sure we'll come on to this, because you might remember that it's probably 3 or 4 months ago when medicine shortages first started happening. Maybe it's longer. And we spoke to a number of chemists, local chemists, Tom Murray amongst them, who said that pharmacists need to be given the power to be able to effectively, and I'm paraphrasing, if a prescription comes in, it's not available, but they, through their experience and knowledge, know of an alternative to be able to give that alternative to the patient, and it speeds the whole thing up, frees up GPs, makes an awful lot of sense. And as I say, you first heard those calls on this programme months and months and months ago, but it's the front of the Irish Daily Mail today. Politicians urgently need to give pharmacists the power to swap patients' medicine to cope with the medicine shortage crisis. Pharmacist Sheena Mitchell said chemists are being forced to tell people there's nothing they can do, but we know that there is more that we could do as a country. The situation is so acute. Common drugs such as low-dose aspirin, which are used to prevent heart attacks and strokes, are currently out of stock. So as I say, you heard that story here on this show 4 months ago. It's the front of the papers today. The Irish Daily Mirror has an important analysis of the level of crime against women and girls. And we read that the number of women and girls killed in Ireland has almost doubled in a year. They've established that 13 females were victim of homicides in 2022. That's an increase of 6 from the year before, representing an increase of 85%. And with half of 2023 still to come, already 6 women have suffered violent deaths this year. If that grim trend continues, there are likely to be more than 10 women killed in 2023. An Irish Mirror analysis of all femicides, as they're called, although for some reason that word doesn't have the impact I believe it should have, but analysis of all the femicides show there have been 38 since the start of 2019. In 2019, there were 6 victims. That was the same toll as 2020. But there's a serious issue of violence against women in this country, be it domestic abuse figures, which we are seeing, but serious assault, serious injury, and murder. and the reality is it is perpetrated almost exclusively by men. It's an interesting 2-page article there that's well worth a read. The mystery surrounding the death of Noah Donoghue deepened after it emerged crucial information was withheld from the dead boy's mother. This is the Irish Daily Star today, and this is just a horrific story. If, you know, all of this other stuff wasn't going on around it in terms of information, the investigation, I have to be careful with what I say because there's consequences for your words when you're on the radio, but anyway, the latest development reads as follow. A video has emerged of Noah, 14, riding his bike after he snuck out of his Belfast home at 3:30 a.m. on the day he disappeared before returning almost 35 minutes later after an unexplained and secret trip. It's now emerged he left his apartment on Fitzroy Avenue in South Belfast in pouring rain and was wearing a T-shirt, shorts and flip-flops and carrying headphones. But when he returned at 4:05, he was captured on CCTV soaking wet and without the headphones and his flip-flops. But the video, which was taken just 14 hours before his disappearance, was only revealed to lawyers working for his mother, Fiona Donoghue, over 2 years after her son's tragic disappearance of June 21st, 2020. Now, why would that be the case? I have no idea. It just is really not what you might expect. Donald McIntyre, who is heading up an independent investigation into the case with a team of crime experts, they're now seeking crowdfunding in order to complete their work, which will be broadcast in a film after the inquest. So that's really quite a strange development there. And finally, on a more upbeat note, of course, one of you out there, and I would love to speak to you, is well over €6 million better off. There were 2 lucky punters who are now multi-millionaires after sharing the biggest lotto jackpot of 2023. The winning numbers were from Donegal and Westmeath and will now split the award, which was an astronomical 12,744,000 plus change. They'll take home a whopping 6.373 million each, making them the 15th and 16th National Lottery millionaires of 2023. And just in case you haven't figured it out yet, it could be you. The winning numbers were 2, 3, 21, 43, 44, 46, and that bonus number is 7. And I think the winning ticket was sold up in the north of the county. Was it in Inishowen? Can I say it was in Inishowen? It's no secret, is it? The Lotto won't tell us because they have a process to go through, and I get it. Not everyone does, but I get it that they sort of have to. They want to do the big hoo-ha, the big reveal on Tuesday. But it was a shop in Inishowen. If you won and you want to share your love, I won't ask for any money, I swear. If you want to share your joy, get in touch with us, 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000, or call 074 91 25,000.
The newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra Mountaintop Letterkenny, the 2022 C-Store National Off-Licence of the Year.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
2 gig full fibre broadband from Virgin Media has landed in Donegal. Hear that, Aoife?
Huh?
Time to lose yourself in the latest Scandi crime series.
I have no idea what's going on here.
You should really put on the subtitles.
Fair point.
Whatever your genre, whatever way you play, Virgin Media is here. Switch today at virginmedia.ie. Virgin Media, it's playtime.
Subject to location and availability.
The new Corolla Hybrid Electric range is here, and the Corolla Cross SUV is the latest addition to the iconic family. Spacious and beautifully designed, it's perfect for growing families everywhere. And it's available to order now at Kelly's Toyota Letterkenny and Mount Charles. With exceptional electric drive time and no plugging in, the next generation is ready to take over. See the new Corolla Cross today at Kelly's Toyota Letterkenny and Mount Charles. Toyota, built for a better world. Terms and conditions apply.
Celebrate Father's Day at Foyleside. Join us Saturday 17th of June, 1 to 4 p.m. and experience our thrilling VR driving simulator to win prizes. Challenge Dad to mini golf or capture memories with vintage cars, including the iconic DeLorean, with donations to Foyle Hospice. Plus, free draw to win a supercar driving experience. Father's Day at Foyleside. See you there.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by Expressway. Ireland's national coach provider are inviting you to walk the Yellow Walk for 30 minutes on June the 21st. Sign up at grow.ie today. Expressway, bringing you the time at...
It's 19 minutes past 9. Now, we read that Gardaí are investigating an alleged sexual assault of a resident with an intellectual disability in a private nursing home in Donegal. The woman had been admitted to the private nursing home by the HSE following a stay in hospital when the alleged assault occurred in May. The alleged assault was reported to the nursing home's director of nursing the following day. Right, we're going to tease this out with a little bit more information and opinion from Deputy Thomas Pringle. This is just horrendous for the victim and for their family, Thomas.
Morning, Greg. Yeah, it's shocking, really, and particularly when you look at it in light of the Brandon report and the Brandon and how the HSE didn't deal with the Brandon case over the years. To see that something else like this could happen at this stage now, and what's supposedly there's a lot more attention in Donegal, and the way to actually deal with these cases has supposedly been highlighted to staff and that. And you'd have to ask questions as to HSE management as to actually what is going on, because I mean, it's shocking, and it must be horrific for people, family members of loved ones who are in care in Donegal, to be wondering what the situation is in relation to their own loved one at the moment, and that's not fair, and that's the way that we should expect, and a lot better as to how people can be treated. We might have naively thought that with everything that we've learned through the Brandon report and other cases, that everything would be done correctly, or everything would be done as it might be expected. But we've learned that it took 2 days after this assault before the woman's family was told about the alleged assault, and a report was filed with the HSE Safeguarding and Protection team. Now, I don't know the exact circumstances, but I'd imagine that compounds the situation, in that presumably her family would have wanted to have been there to support this person immediately. That would just be my initial reaction to it. For time to pass like this is just beggars belief to me. It's horrific, and clearly they knew something was going on and they knew something was wrong, so they didn't report it and they didn't let the family know. So that person was left to suffer on their own for those 2 days, and that's just it beggars belief, Greg, at this stage that this would be allowed to happen. Look, and no matter what system you have, mistakes can be made and stuff like that there, but we don't know that this is what happened, and we see that it appears that there hasn't been an attempt even to respond properly to the situation, and that's the worrying thing about it. And I know, look, and thankfully, well, hopefully this incident will be investigated fully, and maybe then the HSE will learn some lessons out of it, because in reality, through the whole Brandon stuff, the HSE's only modus operandi was to cover it up and to make sure that it went quietly away, and we've seen how that has worked now when we see this incident happen in the future. Yeah, and I mean, obviously the default answer, and maybe that's just the way it is, but investigations are ongoing into this matter. No information is available at this time. It kind of is a little bit frustrating, because then what can be done right now to sort of say, right, this is happening now, how can we make sure it doesn't happen again? Because that statement, and I get it, because this is a crime that needs to be investigated, an alleged crime, but it kind of draws a line under it for now. Yeah, but I mean, I understand, like you say, we understand the reasons that they're saying is they want to give information away in relation to it, but they could actually say that a crime has happened and there's something that happened and that they're actually investigating it, because they're given very little information. And sadly, I think that the hope is that maybe it'll be forgotten about. And, in 6 months' time, when they've said nothing for 6 months, maybe people will forget to ask it or raise about it again. And then a family are left to deal with the circumstances and deal with the case on their own at that stage. And I mean, we have to be and make sure that the HSE know that the HSE works for us. They are working for the people of Ireland, supposedly. So they have an obligation to actually work on behalf of those people, and protect people, and make sure that the things are done properly. And look, if from time to time things aren't done right, and they should be man enough as well to come out and say, look, we got it wrong. Things are changing, and we'll make sure that things change. But what we get is a complete cover-up and an ongoing cover-up, and actually the cover-up becomes more important than the actual issue itself, and that's just not on. And this day and age, it's wrong, and we have to make sure that doesn't continue on.
Now, separately, this has turned out exactly as I expect it to. In fact, it might have been in a conversation with you, but I knew what was happening behind. I can't say it, right? But maybe, I don't know if you could use all privilege or something to say it. I don't know if there's something there, but it was very clear in and around the time of the Brandon report, you would know. You know where people are still working and where they're not still working. And there was a period of time, there always seems to be a period of time where things happen. And then we get to the point where we are now. The Sunday Independent revealed at the weekend that no HSE staff will face disciplinary action for failing to stop an intellectually impaired resident from sexually abusing 18 vulnerable residents over the 13 years. And here is it. The HSE told the Sunday Independent that the individuals who held key management roles and who had responsibility for disability services during the relevant period either no longer work for the HSE or have since passed away. And as I say, none of that comes as a surprise to me. I don't know if it comes as any surprise to you.
Sadly, it doesn't, and it shows actually the shortfalls in the whole procedure in relation to Brandon and that too, because. Okay, if somebody no longer works for HSE and they've moved on, I mean, surely then there still can be some action taken. I mean, those people are still pension holders of the HSE. We're still paying their pensions, stuff like that there. And it's not a question of just gratuitously making somebody responsible. I mean, unless people are viewed are held responsible, we can be sure that the one thing that we can be sure of is that these cases will continue, and it has been shown in this particular case as well. And that's the sad part about it. And there has to be an element of people being seen to be the process been seen to be concluded, and somebody's been seen to be said, this is done wrong, you have done this wrong, and this is the outcome for that.
But you can work for I don't see how we can ever get accountability in any organisation where you can work for that organisation. You can be alleged to have perhaps failed in some of your duties. And then there is a period of time which you can say, oops, this might not go very well for me. I'm going to go and start doing something else somewhere else. And then that's the end of it. So, yeah. I mean, how would that do anything other than breed an environment whereby there is no accountability? Because there is evidently none, because you can just, step away. I'm not saying that happened in this case. I don't know the ins and outs. I have to be careful with what I say, but let's just presume that was the case.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is the problem, because then it leads to an overall case of that there is no accountability, and the fact is that people should be accountable, and they should be made sure that they actually, if they fail to do their job, and if they fail to protect people and the people who are very vulnerable, that there has to be an outcome, and it's not for gratuitously making an outcome and making somebody pay for it. It's for making sure that people act properly and act in the future.
It's
as well.
Not for a head and a stick. It's for a trust of transparency, accountability, lessons learned. I mean, no one's baying for blood here, but it's a very unsatisfactory conclusion to this situation.
Yeah, and that's the problem with it. And what that does is it says to people who are taking up that position afterwards that there's going to be no comeback and there's going to be no kickback in relation to. So basically, what we can do is we can do the job, keep our heads down, keep it ongoing, and if anything goes wrong, we can walk off into the sunset, and that'll be okay.
And do you know who I feel ultimately sorry for? I mean, not ultimately. I mean, it's the victims and their families, but the good staff of the HSE, those who may have raised concerns, those who knew what was going on, those that tried to kick it up the chain, that are listening to this, probably listening to this broadcast now, and you know, they're going, right, so that's how it works. Can you imagine how you'd feel working in that environment when, and some of them, I'm sure, perhaps maybe had potentially their careers didn't go exactly the way they wanted them to because they raised concerns.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. And I know some people are considering even their future within the HSE at the minute, saying that things are never going to change, and that's the reality of the situation. And so they're wondering why they should continue on and why you keep banging your head against the wall. And you know, and these are people that would be very worthwhile to the organisation and very beneficial to the Irish people to have in post and have in position. But they're getting completely frustrated and completely fed up with the situation, and would feel more comfortable in walking away than trying to continue on. And that's wrong, and that's something we need to get beyond that, and we need to get beyond it. And we need to get beyond it for the families of people, and for the residents themselves, and for the wider community, so that everybody knows that their best interests are going to be looked after.
Okay, thanks for your time this morning. I really do appreciate it. That's Independent Deputy Thomas Pringle there. 086 60 25,000 if you want to have your say. Right, before I take a break, quite a bit of contact coming in as it relates to the weekend. We'll go to this email from Peter from Letterkenny, and the headline, "That was the weekend from hell." And I'll read on here. How did it come to pass that quiet, considerate, peace-loving Letterkenny became the centre of lawlessness, littering and such incredible noise? And why is it encouraged and tolerated? I'd love to see a survey taken on support for the Donegal rally in Letterkenny itself. I'd also love to see an explanation from the DCC Gardaí re their inability to keep law and order over the weekend. Honestly, it feels like the town's been visited by an abusive relative and it's too frail and meek to stand up for itself. The treatment of Letterkenny and its environs and people by the supporters and entourage of the rally this weekend was nothing less than a disgrace. I have nothing against the rally itself other than its reliance on fossil fuels and its carbon footprint and the huge increase in roadkill. Let them have their fun too, but I don't see how hosting the rally in a residential centre is in our interests. And at a spend of an average €280 per visitor, 20 million and 70k people, there seem better, far more sustainable ways of bringing far more desirable tourists to Donegal. How about that survey, Highland Radio? Well, listen, I mean, if the truth be told, surveys on radio stations or whatever, they're not scientific, because you just get a certain group of people that are really passionate about something one way or other, and they're more likely to message in. And I know I kind of feel like I say that before, but we could throw it open and it could be like 75-24, but it might not actually be really reflective of it. So let's tease it out by way of conversation. I'm not saying we won't do it, but we got another email in too from another listener about antisocial behaviour. Greg, I'm a local resident of Salagrain, Letterkenny, and what my wife and I witnessed over the weekend since Thursday evening all day and night is an absolute disgrace for members of the public who came to the county for the Donegal International Rally. We live in the vicinity of the Oriel Leisure Centre and had to endure hundreds of people acting with total disrespect to the residents of the area. The following were observed from our living room window. 1. Throwing of glass bottles purposely on our property, smashing the glass over the drive on numerous occasions. 2. Males entering the garden and urinating. 3. Knocking on our door at 5 a.m, frightening for my family. 4. Stealing our garden property and throwing it over the hedge. 5. Noise pollution. Roaring and shouting obscenities, beeping excessively, revving of cars at all hours of the night, resulting in no sleep for my children. 6. Cars dangerously driving at speed and erratically around sharp bends. Drivers driving with car doors open and passengers hanging dangerously out of the cars. Pickup trucks with large groups in the open back. The campsite, located adjacent to O'Donnell Park, is not fit for purpose and needs to relocate. The road from Old Duns to O'Donnell Park is too dangerous, and with the speeding cars and hundreds of people walking on the road due to poor footpath or no footpath at all, not to mention the lack of street lights, this is an unsafe location in my opinion. Garda presence was non-existent over the whole weekend, considering the large volume of people moving between these two locations. I didn't see one Garda patrol this route on foot, and I deem this unacceptable. We, the residents of the town, have been let down once again. I'm sure others felt exactly the same, in that we felt that we were prisoners in our own home and couldn't leave the house due to feeling unsafe. I welcome the attraction from around the world that the Donegal International Rally brings to our beautiful county, but in recent years this antisocial behaviour seems to be getting out of control by this cohort of car enthusiasts. Charlie, though, on Facebook says, good morning all, Letterkenny back to normal, lots of cash circulating over the weekend, and it is good for business. Okay, let's see. I want to stay on track here just for a second. No, those two are on something separate. Right, I'll come back to those after this break. Stay right where you are.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Do you want to take the next step in your career? At Atlantic Technological University, we can help you. Choose from over 350 online, flexible and postgraduate courses. Build accredited qualifications in science, engineering, business, nursing, education, computing and much more. From short courses to masters, work hard and thrive with a flexible learning experience designed to suit you. Apply now at atu.ie/flexible. ATU. Develop the skills you need to stand out.
With July around the corner, it's time to get your 232 ordered. With finance starting from 2.9%, find out why Kia is dominating the Irish market. With diesel, hybrid and electric models. Order before the 30th of June and receive a €500 Super Value gift card as well. Call into iMotors today and choose your new Kia.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. Visit Donegal County Museum for the Conflict to Division Donegal 1919 to 1925. The exhibition explores the story of the War of Independence, Partition and Civil War in County Donegal and highlights some of the events from this period that impacted local communities. Donegal County Museum is located on the High Road, Letterkenny, and admission is free. For further information, call 074 9124 613, email museum@donegalcoco.ie or find us on social media. Donegal County Council, supporting our communities and protecting our heritage. Due to unforeseen circumstances, the Donegal Hospice Dine and Dance has been postponed and will be rescheduled to a later date to be confirmed. All tickets purchased will be valid for the new date.
Okay, just to officially state what the HSE told us in relation to our conversation with Thomas Pringle. They said, while we cannot comment on an ongoing Garda investigation, the HSE is aware of an alleged incident that took place in a private nursing home. Gardaí and then that was what the HSE said. But we heard from the Gardaí then that Gardaí are investigating an alleged assault that is reported to have occurred on the 15th of May in Letterkenny. Investigations are ongoing into this matter. No further information is available at this time. Right, okay, so different views coming in as it relates to Michael D. Higgins. He has had his say. Tánaiste Micheál Martin has defended the government's planned neutrality debates and said it would be a fundamental mistake to shy away from examining Ireland's defence policy. Claims by President Michael D. Higgins that Ireland is experiencing a dangerous drift in foreign policy have caused concern at the highest levels of government. Owen Gallagher is president of Young Fine Gael. What do you think? Do you welcome the president's... Do you welcome the president inserting himself into this debate, Owen? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg. Yeah, so look, I suppose there's 2 points here in terms of where I think that the president is wrong in its remarks. And the first, I suppose, is in that it diminishes the integrity of the office of the president. I mean, the president is there to safeguard the Constitution and not to trample on it. And I know there was some suggestions yesterday that he knows the boundaries. Well, I think he does know the boundaries, Greg, but unfortunately he has absolutely no respect for it. And I think the second point then is on the content of what he is saying, which I'm not sure people have really thought about. You know, this was not just a simple expression of support for neutrality, but it was something a lot more cynical. It was a lot more Eurosceptic. It was a lot more anti-Ukraine, and it was potentially even pro-Russian. You know, we now have a situation...
I mean, you're reading quite, deeply into that, but let's take it through.
But just to finish on that point, Greg, I mean, we now have a situation where, there are two heads of state in Europe that have called into question support for Ukraine. Michael D. Higgins and the far-right authoritarian Hungarian President Viktor Orban. I mean, is this the company we really want to be keeping?
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a stretch, but look, it's your view, and that's fine. Owen, why not? Who's calling for this debate on our neutrality?
Well, I think to call it merely a debate on neutrality is a bit simplistic. I mean, it's a discussion on the future of our defence forums, and I mean the president has said of this that the forum is made up of, and I quote, admirals, the generals, the air force, the rest of it. So like we have a situation now where you have the commander-in-chief of the defence forces is suggesting that senior military leadership should not be involved in discussing the future of defence forces. I mean, would he like poets should be discussing this instead of the experts?
But maybe we could have poets, we could have dentists, we could have journalists, we could have people who are unemployed. We have citizens' assemblies. Surely that is the forum for us to discuss something like this. Instead, we bypass that. Some might argue because the government might not like the outcome of that and it could be quite definitive. And instead we move to a manufactured debate that I don't see any representation from people who are anti-war, for example, or are actively campaigning for neutrality. So we have this forum generated, bypassing one that's been established already, the Citizens' Assembly, and it is quite heavily loaded with people with a military background. And military. You know what military means, don't you? It's like armies that fight.
Yeah, well, I mean that's a fair point, and you're entitled to hold it. But I mean, I suppose what the president's comments have called into question. I mean, whether he wants to have a discussion on it at all, which I don't think is wise. I mean, the other point to note, with the commander-in-chief again, who has said he doesn't want to invest in our defence forces, but he does want absolutist neutrality. I mean, I don't know how he defend the country. Like, maybe he could explain that. I mean, is he happy that we continue to rely on the UK?
Yeah, but you don't seriously. Yeah, but Owen, you don't seriously think that we'll ever allocate enough of our GDP to put up any reasonable defence from a foreign state here. I mean, we will never have the capability to defend ourselves. Look at Ukraine, a huge army, and they knew what was coming, and they had years to prepare, and they would have been wiped out in a day if it wasn't for Western intervention. So, I mean, I think that is a worthwhile conversation to have. Should we really be wasting money on tokenistic defence that would offer really no defence at all?
Well, I think these are exactly the type of conversations that we need to be having, but the president doesn't want us to be having the conversations at all. And, if the president wanted to be making these remarks, perhaps he should have stayed in Dáil Éireann and not gone to the office of the president. I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it, Greg. I mean, this is the classic populist thing. I mean, his attitude on these types of things is he doesn't need to respect the institutions and can say whatever he wants because he won an election. And, this to me sounds an awful lot like Boris Johnson's recent attitude to parliamentary scrutiny, where he thought he could trample on the institutions and norms just because he won a big election victory.
So you believe then the president should have no view on this whatsoever?
He's entitled to his view, but I think he needs to be respectful of the office of the president, and he needs to be cognizant of that.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the government needs to be respectful of the views of the public?
Absolutely.
So,
and I think
do you believe
the opportunity for the public to weigh in on the discussion, and there's 4 public consultations.
I don't think there's any up here. We're in the northwest here. I don't think there's any up here. I've never been. I wouldn't even know how to get a ticket. I don't know who the panel is. Well, I do know the panel is because I had to research that. But this is not the public having their say. This is 3 or 4 meetings with a hand-picked panel to discuss really, really serious issues, but issues really that the government haven't been polled as to whether they want the conversation to be had at all. Do you get where I'm coming from, Owen? No, I think Owen has... I've lost Owen. there. But I think he's made his point. He was quite firm in his criticism of Michael D. Higgins. And what do you think? Do you agree? That's Owen Gallagher, president of Young Fine Gael. Owen, I appreciate your time coming on there, but our link broke down. But as I say, I think most of the points that you wanted to make have been made there. Another, I totally agree with the president. I feel like our neutrality is being sold out to big business involved in war. We do not have the resources or a reason to get involved with NATO. Another, it's very important for the people of Ireland to keep close scrutiny on politicians that seem to promote NATO. The brown envelope extends further than local government, they say. Right, okay, and more here. Good morning, Greg. A great performance by Donegal on Saturday evening. None handling the ball to each other around midfield like the last few years. Michael Murphy was wasted, should have been in full forward, and well done to the ladies too. Yeah, indeed. We'll be talking to that about... we'll be talking about that to Brendan Devaney. He's back with us after 11 o'clock previewing the DL Debate podcast, and get involved in that conversation too. Actually, it's really quite interesting, and I don't know if it's exciting or disappointing. I'm not really 100% sure that in the prelim quarterfinals, it's Donegal versus Tyrone. So it's a renewal of old rivalries, but perhaps rivalries that are all too familiar. I don't know. Right, a few more on the rally here. I was in Letterkenny on Saturday. It took me an hour and a half to drive from Clanree to Mississippi. I couldn't understand what was happening along the road. It was a disgrace. I didn't see one guard in the area, young men drifting on the road, spectators in the middle of it, watching and cheering them on. I couldn't believe it. I'm not dissing the rally as I'm a spectator myself. However, surely more needs to be done for those who are causing chaos in the town. And again, I think it's really important that there's two things happened here. There was a really well-run, well-marshalled, well-competed event. That's the Donegal International Rally. And then there is individuals in the car scene that come up to Donegal, and I think it's the majority of them that are around Letterkenny that never see a stage, really. You know, they're not going to be up in High Glen or out in Fanad or down around Donegal town. They're in Letterkenny for the weekend showing off their cars. It is a car meet, really. I believe this is the way I would define it. There's a car meet that goes on, and it's one of the biggest in the country. There's a car meet that goes on in the same county as the Donegal International Rally, and that is the connection. And I would be confident, actually, by the way, if the Donegal International Rally ceased, and we hope it doesn't, but if it did cease, I believe that you would see this car rally effectively, this car meet. I think it's so well established now at this point that it would happen anyway, irregardless of whether the rally happened or not. Is that controversial? What do you think? 086 60 25,000. But I think there are two separate things happening at the same time here. And I think it's important that well, I believe it is, but I don't, if you want to come on and say otherwise, that we separate that out to some point. As I say, I think there's a huge car meet that takes place in Donegal town at the same time on the same weekend as the Donegal International Rally. Listener says, rally noise pollution was the worst ever in Letterkenny. Would love to know the air quality pollution. There was no reason why the rally cars had to return to Letterkenny for service, which added to traffic chaos over the weekend. Greg, some will be happy in Letterkenny about the amount of money they made this weekend with high prices, but for the rest of us, Joe Soaps, this weekend was absolutely disgraceful. 90% of the people coming to the town are savages, and I don't say that lightly. Their behaviour had a lot to say, had a lot to be desired, and as for the Garda, meant to have a traffic plan. For the only plan I seen was a 4x5 foot female Garda standing at Gallagher's. Sorry, I thought I'm mixing things up here. The only police plan I saw was a guard standing at Gallagher's Hotel. If an incident did happen, what was the guard going to do? The rally should be stopped from next year. On us citizens in this town should not be subjected to this lawlessness free-for-all. As I say, stop the rally. I still think you're going to have one of the country's biggest car meets in Letterkenny. I think it's just established on the calendar now at this point.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Your cat probably loves all the typical cat activities. Heading out for a drive, getting their nails done, and walking the red carpet. Keep them living their best life with Gain Elite Cat Food. Proudly Irish and formulated for 9 life living. It's got all natural ingredients, recyclable packaging with pro and prebiotics for digestion and immunity. Gain Elite Cat Food. Available at premium pet stores nationwide. Special offers available in participating stores. Terms and conditions apply.
Planning on renovating your garden this summer? Then look no further than Daleside Garden Furniture. With a full range of sizes and garden sheds, wooden and steel, summer houses, playhouses, outdoor canopies, fencing and much more. Find us on social media. Made to measure and one-off designs are our speciality. Call today on 087 112 4766.
Connolly's MG now open in Collooney, County Sligo, the latest addition to the Connolly Motor Group family. Find your perfect MG driving experience with the award-winning range of fully electric and hybrid vehicles at our new showroom at Northwest Business Park, Collooney, County Sligo. Inquire about our full range today with our team on 071 910 6950 or visit our website connellys.ie.
Hey John, quick, write this number down. 91 48 234.
Say that again, Mike.
91 48 234.
So what's that, Mike?
The number for Fleming Doors.
Fleming Doors?
No, Fleming Doors. You know, industrial doors, garage doors, roller doors, insulated doors.
Ah, okay, Mike. Give me that number again.
91 48 234.
Fleming's, engineering solutions for 150 years. Call us now on 074 91 48 234.
Now, Tata Consultancy Services finds business leaders are doubling down on cloud as a long-term catalyst for innovation, AI-powered transformation and sustainability. We're joined on the programme now by the Director of Strategic Initiatives for TCS in Ireland, Gerard Grant. Gerard, thanks very much for taking the time out this morning.
Morning, Greg. How you doing?
Right, okay. Talk to me about this survey, and I suppose maybe just for those who may not be aware, talk to me about the cloud and business and its importance, and I suppose that leads in then to the findings of this survey.
Yeah, ultimately, what businesses are thinking about doing over the next while is investing in cloud, and cloud is the large cloud data centers that are based around well-known names like Google, Amazon and Microsoft, where your data is hosted in secure data centers across the world, and it's accessible 24/7. And those data centers then and those services come with a lot of innovative capability that businesses want to take advantage of over the next couple of years.
And it seems that Irish respondents are even more keen than the sort of global average.
Yeah, 3/4 of the businesses we surveyed in Ireland, or nearly 3/4, really looked at cloud as a catalyst for innovation, whereby not only could they buy services from the cloud to road test or prototype or innovate, but also they could try services in a low-cost way. When you think about the big advantage of cloud compared to legacy IT, where you had to buy equipment and install it in your premises, really now you can access that technology and capability over an internet browser, do some research and development, road test or prototype your ideas, and in a very low-cost way if you need to, then take it back down until you're ready to progress it to a next stage. And that's where the real flexibility in cloud is a real advantage, especially to small businesses as well.
Yeah, and Ireland, again, in particular, with a close eye on the developments in artificial intelligence and how that can be utilised for their businesses.
Yeah, and when you look into that in a little bit more detail, companies are using that in a very creative way. As an example, a lot of companies are using artificial intelligence and machine learning to screen out what we call the noise in cybersecurity. So large companies get a lot of cybersecurity alerts every day for threats and updates and potential attacks. And where artificial intelligence plays a key role is it's able to screen out those thousands of interactions and then bring the really important ones to human cyber threat associates. So to somebody in the cyber center that can say, yeah, this is a real threat and these are not. And that's where artificial intelligence with the power of cloud is able to really multiply that like no other system can, really.
Yeah, and this is not necessarily at this point, and there are sort of really quite worrying predictions for the future. This is not necessarily about replacing humans at this time, but it's making their work more efficient because they're actually probably only dealing with situations or threats that have been filtered out that are probably meaningful rather than time wasters.
Yeah, and not only that, but there's a lot of rudimentary tasks in IT and in other businesses, finance and accounting, life sciences, that the cloud and artificial intelligence can do on behalf of the user. But secondly, as well, building a cloud environment and moving into cloud technology takes a whole different set of skills as well. So we're going to need a new type of graduate. There's lots of job opportunities in cloud and in hyperscalers for graduates and experienced professionals. So while some roles and tasks will get automated on one side, there'll be a brand new family of jobs coming up on the other side as well.
And this is where we're going. I mean, any people now who are considering courses or have an interest in this, I mean, this is the time now to if you can and you are interested, to tailor your education, because the opportunities will be there. This is not like Betamax versus VHS. We know where we're going.
We do, and in technology as well, sometimes you get these what we call mega trends, and cloud is definitely one of these. As you say, we know where we're going. It is the technology of now, and it's going to only grow in the future, because what companies are saying is that it's more important for me to invest in my people, to make sure that they use their time to the best and let the computers do the rest, so that that automation, cloud, cybersecurity, those tools and technologies for the future are a no regrets investment for people in their careers.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, in certain industries, there's always different ways of working. But is there a sense that we're in a period now where there is a almost like a internal combustion engine to electric type of a shift in how work is doing? I'm trying to sort of put it into ways that I can better understand.
Yeah,
but there's always innovation. But is this? Are we seeing a real shift now over the next in the past number of years, but over the next couple of years?
Yeah, because of the way you describe it, in terms of like, people don't worry where their electricity comes from anymore. They switch on the light and the light comes on. IT is sort of going down that road, with the large providers providing this always on access, this ubiquitous or common approach and common tool set to using IT, so that you'll see that approach in businesses coming where IT before, historically was a large specialism, and, you had to be very invested in how it worked and how it was designed. Businesses now don't need to worry about that, because it's provided at source by the large providers and then customized by companies like us. But it also allows them to focus on what's important to their business. And the shift we're also seeing now is what we call vertical cloud integration. So this is where you get clouds with the power of everything in the cloud, but also with some features and functions that are applicable to your business, whether that be logistics and supply chain, life sciences, healthcare, finance. So you get the cloud, but you also get some things that you're used to seeing in your business and in your industry. And again, that's a really important component for people that are just new into the cloud or new into that approach.
And just in the last minute, tell us Tata Consultancy Services' role in all of this. Where does your company sit?
Yeah, well, we're really an enabler for those companies who want to go on a journey to the cloud. So, while the large hyperscalers and the large cloud providers will give you the data center and all the technology, we're the glue that puts that together for you in terms of applying consultancy, design, maintenance, and support. So we'll help you design it, build it, deploy it, and then run it for the long term. And we've lots of experience in doing that a lot across a range of industries over many, many years.
And of course, I mean, often, I'm thinking that you've mentioned big companies there and what have you, but presumably small, medium firms can benefit from this as well. This is not just for the big boys.
And that's the great advantage, because you can start small, you can learn really fast, and then you can grow at your own pace. So if you're a 1 to 2 user micro business or a small business and you're based in the collab down at the ATU and you want to get mobilized in the cloud, you can do that with 1, 2, 3 or 4 or 5 users. But if you're lucky enough to grow and you're lucky enough to accelerate your business and you go to 10, 20, 100 users, the cloud can grow with you, and companies like us can help you do that as well. So that's really important.
Yeah. All right. Listen, thanks for your time. It's going to be of interest to those who get it. Thanks so much. That's Gerard Grant, Director of Strategic Initiatives for TCS in Ireland. 086 60 25,000. WhatsApps and texts, or call 07491 25,000. We are going to take a break for the news. Stay right where you are. We'll be back with a ton of stuff over the next 2 hours and a bit. But Michaela's on the way, as I say, with the news and obituary notices.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
At Heron Auto Opel, we're half-full type of people, which is how we come up with the Opel 50/50 finance offer. Choose from the Opel Crossland, Corsa or Mokka. Select your flexible payment option, pair it with 3 years free servicing and meet your new other half. Discover more about Opel's 50/50 offer at the Opel Open Road event. See heronopel.ie for details. Finance is provided by way of a consumer hire purchase agreement by Bank of Ireland Finance. Lending criteria and conditions apply over 18s only. Ownership remains with Bank of Ireland until the final payment is made. Bank of Ireland trading as of Bank of Ireland Finance is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Crawford Tiles and More, Castlefin. Summer offers now on. 10% off everything for the month of June. Wall and floor tiles, all sizes from small to extra large. Brand new selection of wood flooring in stock. Over 60 bathrooms on display. Tile and bathware clearance available outside. Late night opening on Thursday till 8. Closed Saturdays. Crawford Tiles and More, Castlefin.
At Allstate, we provide flexible working options that make work for you. You can choose condensed working or a flexible start or finish time. Choose to work from home or the office whenever you want. Don't miss out on the moments that matter to you. Make work for you. Search Allstate NI Careers today.
Escape the ordinary and immerse yourself in total relaxation at the Tess Rose Ocean Spa and the 4-star Ballyliffin House and Spa in Inishowen. Discover a luxurious thermal-suite experience and top your experience off in the rooftop garden hot tubs. Book the spa and dine offer with thermal suite experience, hot tubs and 2-course meal from only €49 per person. Book your next spa getaway. ballyliffinhouse.ie.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, I'm Michaela Clark with the news at 10 o'clock. Investigations are underway into an alleged sexual assault of a resident with an intellectual disability at a nursing home in Donegal. It's understood the woman was assaulted by another resident at the private nursing home on May the 15th. However, the incident was not reported to her family until 2 days later. Gardaí have confirmed they are investigating and say no further information is available at this time. Donegal Deputy Thomas Pringle says the aim of the Brandon report, which detailed incidents of sexual abuse at Ardnagrania Court Stranorlar, was to ensure measures were put in place to mitigate against such assaults. He says those responsible for the woman being placed in the facility must be held to account.
Brandon was supposed to bring an end to this kind of carry on, and it was supposed to show that things had changed and the agency were supposed to make the changes to make it happen. But we've seen that the agency even refused to publish the Brandon report and refused to actually act in relation to it, and that is where we've ended up with this situation. Unfortunately, I do hope that the Gardaí will give this a full investigation and look to see who actually put the patient there, as well as because they will have some culpability in relation to what happened.
Gardaí have been praising those who complied and cooperated with them over Rally weekend. Huge crowds flocked to Donegal for the annual event, with a major policing operation in place for the duration. Between Friday and Sunday, over 80 arrests were made for a range of offences, including public order offences, intoxicated driving, assault and drug offences. No major incidents have been reported. Inspector Seamus McGonigal says given the volume of people in the locality over the past 3 days, it was a positive weekend.
The vast majority of people who attended the rally events over the weekend behaved excellent. There was no great issues with them. As ever, there is 1% of miscreants who do cause some bother, but again, a lot of them were dealt with, and thankfully we had no serious incidents. There was no serious traffic accidents. There was no very serious assaults in the town. So overall, taking account of the huge numbers were in town, we really can't complain. And again, reiterate our thanks to the vast majority of people who behaved so well.
The President has come close to crossing the line with comments on neutrality, according to a Fianna Fáil senator. Michael D. Higgins said the government was playing with fire through the consultative forums on security, which start this week. He said there is a danger drift when it comes to the long-held policy on neutrality. Fianna Fáil Senator Erin McGreehan is one of those to criticise the President.
You know, what if the next President decides to criticise some sort of social policy, to roll back on, same-sex couples to marriage, or surrogacy legislation that was coming down the line, or immigration laws? Just because a lot of people agree with the President on this issue doesn't mean he has a right to weigh in on a debate about it.
A special meeting of Donegal County Council is being held today. It's to consider the County Donegal Development Plan. Sean O'Regan has more.
Members will consider whether to publish the County Donegal Development Plan or to make amendments. A decision on publishing the draft document was deferred at the end of last month after councillors from the Letterkenny-Milford Municipal District asked that more time be given to consider elements of the plan relating to the MD area. Members of the Glenties Municipal District at the last plenary meeting of Donegal County Council also put forward a proposal calling for a change in policy to allow planning along the N56. Concerns continue to also be raised around the residential zoned land tax.
And Letterkenny is to host its first ever Pride Festival this summer. Letterkenny Pride Festival will take place on August the 19th to celebrate the LGBTQ+ community. A day filled with festivities, colour, music and self-expression is planned. One of the organisers, Keely Bowery, says it's an opportunity to celebrate how Ireland has evolved.
I just think that it's time. We're a big town in Donegal. We have a huge community here that I think it's time we all gave them a place to come together and to meet, but also for the wider community to come together and celebrate them and how far we've come in all this time.
Weather now dry with some sunny spells this morning as showers develop in the afternoon and evening. Highest temperatures today of 18 to 22 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with an update again at 11 o'clock. Until then, good morning. The obituary notice is for this Monday morning, June the 19th. The death has taken place of Rose Dowds, née McKinley, Ruski, Newton Cunningham. Rose's remains are reposing at her late residence. Funeral from there tomorrow for Requiem Mass in All Saints Church, Newton Cunningham at 11 o'clock, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Funeral Mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of flowers to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Charlie McClafferty, funeral director. Family time, please, from 11 o'clock tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. The death has taken place of Margaret Peg Gillespie, Nairn Portnew. Her remains will repose at Chauvelin's Funeral Home, Sandfield, this evening from 5 o'clock until 8 o'clock. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:30 to St Connell's Church, Kilclunny for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Margaret's funeral mass can be viewed live on Chauvelin's Funeral Home Facebook page. And the death has taken place of Sister Laura McCann, Clonboy Walk, Randallstown, Antrim. Funeral Mass this morning at St Columba's Church Strong at 11 o'clock, followed by burial in the adjoining graveyard. Sister Laura's funeral mass can be viewed live on stcolumbusstrong.net. For more details, including any family health guidelines for wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Are you suffering from dodgy internet connection? Symptoms include endless loading, embarrassing freeze face. Luckily, there's a cure. 3 home broadband in Ireland's fastest and most consistent 5G network. Get it free for the first 3 months and for only €39 per month after that. Plus, no setup costs. You don't want to miss this. Visit in store or at 3.ie. 24-month minimum term. Subject to location and availability. Speeds may vary. Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q3 to Q4 2022.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
All right, loads coming in on the rally. I'll get to those in a moment, but some on the President's comments. Good morning, Greg. Read the defence of our country. No one except the US and the UK are the only countries we need to worry about. They are the only countries that would be interested or capable of taking over our country. Russia may well threaten the internet cables from Europe to the US, but these also run through international waters. The destruction of the Russian gas pipelines in the Baltic were caused by the US, as was the blowing up of the bridge in Crimea. So who should we really be worried about invading Ireland? And there are difference of opinions as it relates to who's responsible for those 2 instances, but that's your opinion. Thank you. I agree with the President. He stands up for the country. We don't want war and want to remain neutral. It's about time we stood up for ourselves. He's speaking on behalf of the majority of us. I'm an elderly woman and I get scared at the thought of war, which I know so many of us do. I don't want my sons, grandsons, nephews to have to fight for our country. Why are political parties given out to the President for wanting to remain neutral? Am I missing something here? And I would be of the firm view that we need to do anything we can to avoid any war. The one thing we don't really consider here, when we hear of tanks being sent here and there and everywhere and what have you, is currently at the moment there is an incredible loss of life of young people, primarily young people Ukrainian young people and Russian young people, both groups compelled to fight. It's conscription. They don't have a choice. So it's not like, it might be presented in a way to say that, we'll do anything for our flag, take me to the front line. I'm sure there are people like that as well, but people are obliged to join the army, to train and to go into the front line and fight. And hundreds upon hundreds are dying every day. And really, the thing about it is that if the truth be told, it's probably to get to a stalemate whereby there will be discussions, because Russia's not going to take over the Ukraine at this point. Ukraine aren't going to push Russia out of Ukraine. So it's a case of exhausting resources, both military and human resources, to the point whereby both sides negotiate. And the amount of lives that will be lost between now and then is just absolutely horrendous. You couldn't allow yourself to think about it, because it's hundreds upon hundreds of people every single day. And as I say, they are people's sons, nephews, grandsons, not all doing it by choice. They're conscripted into the army and sent into fight, never to return. The truth is that a lot of these people from both sides sent to the front line there's no hope of them ever returning. They'll go, and if they can take one or two with them, all be well. It's all about ratios, isn't it? We kill 5 to 1 or 3 to 2. Well, that's it really. They're all, lots and lots of people are going to die. And as I say, my feeling is that it's only really just to grind out a position whereby they have to negotiate. It's really quite depressing, isn't it? I agree with President Higgins on the preservation of our neutrality. Listening to the young Fine Gael lad is typical of an attitude that anyone speaking true common sense is lambasted. I want to preserve the future here for our young people. I don't want my grandchildren dying on foreign soil. What for? Someone has to call this government to heel. Let Micheál Martin go off to the wars, seeing as he is so eager to end Ireland's neutrality. Let him and his likes head out to the front in Ukraine to fight. Paul's talking nonsense. This Irish people, do not want to be any part of any wars, full stop. Another, leave the president alone. The warmongers are out in force. I'm switching off. The Fine Fáil are allowed to insult them. Last one on this. Filling up this forum with yes men and women and army industrialists is an attempt to torpedo us into the undemocratic EU and NATO war machine. No one on it represents me or most Irish people. Another disgusting mistake by Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and the Greens, they believe. But there has been, you could argue, and you could argue against it as well, there has been a momentum here. I've talked about this in the past, how we name referendi or whatever, you know what I mean? There's a way in which you soften us up, and the public really, we can be really quite easily influenced. Right, well done to everyone involved in the Donegal International Rally this weekend, to the great work done by the Garda and Emergency Services. Well done to the organisers and competitors for another fantastic weekend. We have a fantastic event that brings extra employment and money into a county that needs it so badly. Long may the rally continue. It's only a handful of people who actually, most of them live outside Letterkenny, that benefit from the rally. There's no point in complaining about it anyway, because nothing will happen. Every year, the majority of Letterkenny residents do their shopping on a Thursday and don't go near the town until Monday when the rally is over. No other town anywhere in the world would put up with that, with what goes on at the Donegal International Rally every year in Letterkenny. I mean, I would say, for instance, the local residents of Croke Park would argue something different. Do you know what I mean? That this is why they try and limit the amount of concerts to 5, because it's everything we see here. It's noisiness, it's people going into gardens, it's people biddling up against walls, it's disruption in terms of moving in and out of their homes. So I take your wider point, but I mean, you would only have to go and live around Croke Park to see what it can be like. Good morning, Greg. I would like to say a massive thanks to Highland Radio for the coverage they've done over every item of sport over the whole weekend. Continued success. Thank you so much. Hi, Greg. The Donegal rally over the south of Donegal on Friday was like a world rally day. Is that good? I presume so. Loved the rally weekend. Great to see so many about our lovely town. I'm a woman over 50 and live in Letterkenny. Residents near O'Donnell Park should take that up with St. Eunan's, and maybe they should share some of the profits they got with the people who live there, or even offer to fund them to go away for the weekend if they prefer. Another, open the car parks, let them park up, display their cars, then they aren't blocking the roads driving round. Charge them an entrance fee. It'll cover the tidy up and the rubbish. Another, I know the Letterkenny was booming, banging, zooming, but one thing that was relatively beneficial was that the diffing was accommodated in a controlled, safer environment on the outskirts of the town. And when a lot of traditional tourist accommodation is more lucratively used in another way, well, then the influx of rally visitors, they have to camp somewhere. Left Sligo on Friday at 2:30 and didn't get home to Kilmacrennan till 8:55. There was an accident with Garda motorcyclists at the Lahey, but can't put all the blame on that. Yeah, indeed, and that person's going to make a full recovery. That was at the Tullyall roundabout, which is more Donegal town than Lahey, but I take your point. Yep, indeed, I know someone trying to get to work in Abbots. They left Ballyshannon at 6 and got there at something like 7:45. Not too bad, but that's a long way from Sligo to Kilmacrennan. Who profits from the rally? Certainly not the suffering residents. Well, businesses do. I mean, I imagine, shops sold lots of stuff, and takeaways and pubs and hotels and coffee shops, I'm sure. They all did really well. Petrol stations. How come you always stand up for the rally? Is that me? No, I don't stand up for the rally at all. In anything I do is try and look at all different sides and see that there's not as much in this life as we'd like to believe that if I say something I'm right and another person is wrong. It's not really doesn't work like that. We can both believe we are right, and somewhere in between lies the truth. I just believe if you're talking to my comments as it relates to the rally, I think there is 2 events that are ongoing in the county. That's all I'm saying. Rally supporters and rally cars can have no respect for the national park. It only benefits business, and the rest of us are tortured. It's a disgrace, and now we'll have the boy racers driving dangerously across Donegal for the next month. Greg, I was putting up shelves years ago in my home, and my neighbour called the guards, to which they said the noise was excessive and I need to stop. Beside the point, I know. However, if you go downtown during the weekend, the noise was, which I believe, extremely excessive, with young ones holding their foot to the ground, waiting for the engines to practically explode. And the guards, they didn't do nothing. It makes make that make sense. I can't make it make sense, but the guards have to police it and have to depolice it. Like, the alternative is that they throw a ring around Letterkenny and don't let anyone in, or they arrest everyone for every marginal infraction, which is completely impossible. So I presume there's a balance that has to be struck, that you discourage, very serious assaults, drink driving, drug driving, excessive drunkenness on the streets. That's all the guards could do. They can't lift every car, can they? Again, I'm going to be given out for being too soft here. I'm just trying to cover all bases. Do you get me? And anyone who knows me knows that. I'm just trying to be as fair as I can.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
It's time for NCBI Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Monday, the 19th of June. You're playing on the green sheet. The reference number is S1. It's game number 25. The numbers are 44, 48, 35, 37, 51, 68, 1, 57, 81, and finally 66. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your NCBI bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Dreaming of a getaway this summer? There's still time to book with TUI. Choose from a beach cruise or city break. Summer, best enjoyed on holiday. TUI, live happy.
Get ready for an epic summer with Irwin's Expert Electrical, Letterkenny and Buncrana. Everything you need to make the most of our Irish summers. From the highly sought after Ninja barbecues to outdoor speakers, Dyson fans, big screen TVs, Bluetooth speakers and small appliances. We've got you covered. Irwin Expert Electrical, Letterkenny and Buncrana.
Charlie McClafferty Funeral Directors, serving Letterkenny and the surrounding areas for over 100 years. Charlie McClafferty Funeral Directors. Let our family take care of your family and guide you through a difficult time.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Right, a public participation event for Ramelton Flood Relief Scheme will take place this coming Wednesday in Ramelton Town Hall. It's a drop-in event running from 4 to 8 p.m. and no appointment is necessary. Members of the project team from the Council, the Office of Public Works and consultants are hosting the event. To talk more a little bit about this, we're joined now by Lorraine Arbuckle, who's Executive Engineer with Donegal County Council. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's great to have you on the programme. So I suppose really there's a number of elements to this event on Wednesday, and maybe we can talk through one of the first ones. It's really to sort of set the scene, really. What is the flood risk to Ramelton from not just river flooding, of course, but tidal flooding? And it's not only just now, because I suppose we have to prepare what might be coming into the future.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I guess these flood relief schemes are very much becoming climate action schemes, if you like, because we are having to give a lot of consideration as to increase sea level in the future as we project or predictions towards 2100. So yes, you're right, climate change is a big consideration. So we have done a lot of analysis up to this point in terms of hydraulic modelling and tidal surveys, looking at the sea levels in Lough Swilly and also the flow in the River Lennon and what that would look like for a 200-year return period flood event and indeed a mid-range future scenario. So a lot of work has gone into updating the data and the flood risk that we would have seen in the flood risk management plans a few years ago. And now we're at the stage where we have a clearer picture of what that flood risk looks like for Ramelton and would like to talk to the public about it and discuss next steps.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, the public will have an option to have their opinion on this. But this is incredibly technical, right? And it requires a leap of faith as well to sort of believe that this is the direction which we're going. But we presume that we are. So, I mean, in terms of what the public can influence here, I suppose might be a better way of phrasing it. In reality, what is that?
Ramelton is a very heritage-rich town. And there are a lot of environmental sensitivities with the River Lennon being a special area of conservation. There are also quite a few projects ongoing in the area at the moment. So our key aim is to develop a flood relief scheme that, yes, is economically acceptable to the public purse, but is also environmentally and socially acceptable. So what we would like to talk about on Wednesday evening is what would flood defence look like in and around Shore Road and the key area? What would be acceptable to people? Are the aesthetics of that area and the tourism value something that needs to be carefully considered in developing the scheme? What would defences look like? Or are we looking more at enhancing the resilience of the properties themselves, raising floor levels, floodgates, that type of thing, so that the heritage of the area is preserved, but flood defence and flood resilience is also provided. We don't want to do anything in the area of Ramelton that the people living there aren't happy with, and that's why we would like to talk to people in the early stages of design and development this week.
Yeah, it's really quite interesting because it is a case of, you know, going into the future with your eyes wide open here, in that yes, there's an inevitability. We can try and stop it here, or we can try and stop it there, or we can try and stop it there. But one way or other, we are going to have to deal with this.
That's right. And flood risk has been identified as one of the key elements of climate change in the northwest area. One of the key risks that we're facing into the future, increased sea level and increased river flow. So when we're investing in such infrastructure at this moment in time, it does make sense to look to the future and ensure that the scheme is as resilient as possible to climate change, so that we don't have to keep coming back and adapting existing infrastructure to cope with increased flood risk. risk.
Yeah, and also there's a reality here in that really we're talking about laying the groundwork for the future for our sons and daughters and their grandchildren and beyond.
Absolutely. So it is a case of measure twice, cut once, and getting this right as early as possible so that we are leaving a sustainable flood relief scheme in the area and indeed the other towns in Donegal, so that they are doing what they're supposed to do now, but also into the future. And we really do need to consider the environment, public realm, and leaving behind an amenity, if you like, that serves the community beyond just flood risk.
Okay, that drop-in event runs from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's in the Ramelton Town Hall this coming Wednesday. The full team will be there. Reps from Donegal County Council, the Office of Public Works, consultants Byrne Luby. They're hosting the event. Okay, so you hope to have a good attendance, and people can drop in when it suits them between 4 and 8, around work or childcare or whatever it might be.
Yeah, we'll be there to talk to anyone that would like to come in, and anyone that has an interest in the area. We'd encourage you to come along at any time between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and we'd be delighted to meet everyone.
All right, hope you get a good turnout. Thank you very much indeed. That's Lorraine Artbuckle, Executive Engineer with Donegal County Council. In Australia for 5 years, says this listener, soon we'll be returning to Donegal with my Australian partner. Hearing the sort of things associated with the rally is disappointing and, in my opinion, not a good representation of Donegal or the kind of people we want to attract. Even rural towns here in Oz have good public services with spotless public places. I fear she won't last long in Donegal. I would say otherwise, and I hope you both come back, and I think she'll love it here. I mean, let's say, for instance, what my experience of the rally was. I don't live in Letterkenny. I wasn't in Letterkenny. I wouldn't have been in Letterkenny anyway. So we were up in the Downings area. We were able to walk up, watch a few of the rally cars go past. The road was closed for 5 or 6 hours. Then it was lifted immediately. You'd never known the rally was there, and that was it. The local bars and restaurants were busy for a couple of days. There was no aggro, very little bapping, except for the rally cars themselves. And then you could go from there and explore a beautiful part of the world with your partner. That's the reality for an awful lot of people of what the rally was. Now, if you live in Letterkenny or in the heart of Letterkenny, or you needed to go into Letterkenny, you've got thousands upon thousands of young people from all over the country and even further afield driving into that one town for those 3 days. Donegal town would have had a bit of an overflow, and Ballybofeistre and all have probably got something of a lift, but it was concentrated in Letterkenny. And all around there, you could have just gone around outside of that, gone around your daily business, seeing what this beautiful county has to offer. So I don't think even those 3 days, yes, a nightmare for some in Letterkenny by the text we're getting, but I don't think it's a poor reflection on Donegal as a whole, if you don't mind me saying so. So come on home, she's going to love it. Those awful businesses, I'll come back to that one. Hi, Greg. What happened here at the weekend would not be tolerated in any other town, definitely not in Northern Ireland. Every car would have been lifted, police would have been out in force, shops in towns were dead, so don't know where the money was spent. Applegreen, very busy. Donegal has a bad reputation for this behaviour now. Indeed, we do. I'll concede that 100%. We have a bad reputation. You only have to go onto social media to see that. These business people made money during the rally. We definitely need to get rid of them. Sure, we can all go on the dole. Who needs jobs? Really, who do these people think provides us with work? The Gardaí failed to maintain law and order at the rally. A disgrace. Noise from Diffing Yard. Awful all day. Not suitable for an urban area, says another. It isn't, but it means it's being done in one space and not up and down every back road in the county. Again, this is the compromise, and it's up to you people to decide whether you want this or not. 2 Gardaí standing at McGettigan's Hotel with their arms folded on the street, drinking, modified cars, banging people, couldn't get to church, no law and order. Letterkenny people had to leave their homes and stay with relatives. Morning, Greg. Climate change was forgotten about over the rally weekend. Government need to kill rallying before they kill cows. More here. There's a big issue at hand here with regards the rally. Where is the RSA in all this? It sends out the entirely wrong message to young men who think they can drive just like rally drivers. We've worked so hard on assuring safe driving, yet this weekend makes a complete mockery of this. Accidents happen and arrests every single year during this exact weekend. Why is this allowed? Is it just for financial gain for the county? I cannot understand it, says the listener. Greg, your point on separation is correct. In 2021, when there was no international rally due to COVID, there was a significant amount of people present in Letterkenny that weekend who took part in dangerous driving and public order offences. Another, we spectated ourselves all weekend at the actual rally. These other fools never go to the stages and they give the rally a bad rep. Increased Garda presence or even bringing in a few members of the Defence Forces on patrol, the misbehaving would soon stop them. That comes in from Ian. Like, I don't know how many guards you would need to police completely satisfactory, 20. How many people were up here? 20,000 visitors into the county, and not all of them rally fans. So I don't know how many you would actually need. But anyway, maybe it's time I just let you all have your say. And I've not thrown my opinion in there. I'm just trying to moderate the conversation, moderate the debate so everyone gets a fair view. Do you know what I mean? Right, some reaction to Owen, who was on with us, from a listener after these.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate holiday loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Are you worried about trees on your property? Northwest Forestry Services Ballybuffet are fully insured and have over 40 years experience in dangerous tree removal, tree felling, surgery and stump grinding. For peace of mind, call Northwest Forest Services Ballybuffet for a no obligation quotation on 913233.
The groom goes free. The groom goes free. Yes, you heard it. The Groom's Room. Evolve Clothing, Letterkenny Retail Park. The groom goes free. Call in today. Terms and conditions apply.
Test drive the Suzuki S-Cross at Barry Brown Cars Milford at their test drive event from the 19th to the 24th of June and avail of the 0% finance offer. That's right. Secure your 232 Suzuki S-Cross at 0% interest this week at Barry Brown Cars Milford, your main Suzuki dealer in Donegal. Finance subject to status. Terms and conditions apply.
Ready to reveal your dream smile? Welcome to Blue Poppy Orthodontics, Letterkenny and Donegal Town. We have a range of solutions for you, from orthodontics to general dentistry, teeth whitening, implants and composite bonding. And some great news. At Blue Poppy Invisalign, your clear brace is now available for the same price as conventional braces and includes an attractive repayment plan. Blue Poppy Orthodontics. Call 074 974 0404. At Blue Poppy, your smile's ahead.
The best businesses never stop beginning. So whether you're starting or growing your business, we want to make it easier for you. At Bank of Ireland, our faster, easier online loan applications help your business take the next step. Search Bank of Ireland Business Loans. Bank of Ireland. Begin. Lending criteria, terms and conditions apply. Over 18s only. Bank of Ireland is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Okay, so we had Owen Gallagher, who is president of Young Fine Gael, a parliamentary assistant as well, on the programme a little earlier on. He was, all guns blazing towards President Michael D. Higgins for his intervention in the neutrality debate. Sinead, you were listening. What is your view?
Hi, Greg. I just didn't understand why he was on the radio to begin with, but because... Look, for me, I thought it was a really important intervention by Michael D., especially when this, as it appears to be, this cynical, calculated, manufactured, air quotes, debate, and it's been manufactured by the government in order to try and railroad us into dropping our neutrality, which the vast majority of Irish people don't want to do.
Yeah, do you think they are under pressure from Europe, that they're being encouraged in a certain direction? Yeah,
I think so. Look, it's the same as normal. The Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, they go to Europe and they want to be the best little boys and girls in the class. So they will do everything that is asked of them to try and bring us into line. And, this EU army has been of great concern to many of us for a very long time. Now, I don't know about you. I certainly know from and I know, but I can guess, none of us want our sons and daughters to become cannon fodder at the behest of some armchair general in Europe or the US, just to make up the numbers and literally become cannon fodder for some foreign war. I definitely don't want my son or daughter to be called up for that. I know there's no such thing as conscription, but listen, you just never know. I mean, there was no conscription in England until the World War. Then there was conscription. Do you know what I mean? So our neutrality is really important. I think it's really important to the vast majority of people, and I very much welcome Michael D for expressing the views of the people. That is what our president should be doing.
And some would say he should have done it in the past too. But like, if we're going to have a debate on our neutrality, the starting point, I think, is to get a sense of the mood of the public. I personally feel that the majority of people might actually want our neutrality better enshrined, so that it can't be, so there can't be any ambiguity in terms of maybe, you know, who the leaders of this country, the positions they take on certain issues or certain comments that they make. Like, I think if they really wanted a debate on neutrality, you get a sense of what the public want. This is framed to see, well, what can we do to improve in terms of buying boats or buying this or buying cargo planes or whatever. No, hold on a second. Let's actually have, maybe the public would prefer the army to be properly paid. Then we could do
exactly what I was going to say.
Right, you know what I mean. So this is like saying you want to talk about black, right? And I say, well, let's have a debate on whites. You know, that's not really
exactly. And look, as I said from the outset, this is clearly, and I think most people, people aren't stupid. People can see where this is coming from. They can see that this is a manufactured, as I said, air quotes, debate. People are not stupid. They can see that this is exactly what they're trying to do. Pay our soldiers a decent wage. It would fit them better to do that. Look after our women of honour and sort that element out before we start going into this whole realm of, okay, now we really need to join NATO and an EU army. Get the basics right. You know what I mean? And even at that, I will be completely, and I would agree with you in that I think that we would want, as a majority, we would want our neutrality strengthened, not eroded. But yeah, it's just crazy. And this consultative forum is just crazy. Even Tom Clonan, right? So Senator Tom Clonan, who is absolutely for, by the way, us trying to join NATO. His comments this morning is that some of the high-profile anti-neutrality speakers are given several slots, also given to UK think tanks, part funded by the UK Foreign and Commonwealth Office, not a properly balanced lineup, no call for papers to be submitted, and it's by invite only. Now, if this is supposed to be a consultation with the people, firstly, there's 4 of them. 1 in Cork, 1 in Galway, 2 in Dublin, right? As you said earlier, there's none up here. Nobody's asking us our opinion. Nobody's asking anybody anywhere other than those 4 centres their opinion, and they're not even asking their opinion. They've brought in this lineup, which is by invite only, and there's no invitation for anybody else to present their views to this lineup of speakers. Now, I don't know the exact names of who it is. That's been released.
Yeah, no, it is. It's on the government website. It is. Yeah, but I mean, look, there's no anti-war, no very obvious pro-neutrality people on it, but it is on the Gov website. If you can dig through that minefield, no pun intended. But I just don't understand how the right way for us to move forward with anything that we decided to do is to have 4 events with a hand-picked panel, right, and then have limited access to it. And you can say, yeah, it's been streamed, right? But anyway, I don't think that would be any way. I don't think that's actually really a very effective starting point for any conversation, because instantly there's an instant public distrust. It doesn't make sense if what you want to achieve is to convince the public of a certain way of thinking. Fear is going to come out very soon. I mean, obviously, The one way everyone argues nowadays is with fear. To some extent, we've done it ourselves, Sinead. We don't want our grandchildren or our children sent out to be cannon fodder. To some extent, you know, you're engaged in it, I've engaged in it in the past. So I'm not saying I'm innocent in that regard, but Project Fear is going to go into full swing with this one really, really shortly. I've seen some of it already, but that's the next. That's the next line of attack, I think.
And if you've been watching it for as long as some of us have, this has been coming down the tracks for a very long time. So yeah, Project Fear, oh my goodness, there's Russians and they're going to attack our lines, and there's Russians off our coast, and you know, cynically using the war in Ukraine, I think, which is awful, to try and drive us into a position that we don't want to be in as a people. We do not want to be. Now, ask me, do I think we need better defences? Absolutely we do. We need to be resourced. They need to be fully resourced. Our people need to be resourced that are in the Defence Forces. We need to have the equipment. They need to have the equipment in order to do that.
Like I heard one person argue, this says, well, what part of this forum is that we need to understand why we have 3 or 4 vessels that are tied up at the moment because there's no staff for them. Well, I can save them an awful lot of hassle because I actually went on one of these vessels and asked someone who's very high up in the Navy what the story was. And the bottom line was, it's a training ground. People come in, get trained, and then go and work in the private sector because the money is so crap to work in the army. And what they say then is that boats are tied up for services. They're not tied up to be serviced at all. They're being tied up because there is no staff to safely man them, because the wages are so terrible, people are going to work for private companies. So I can say 4 meetings right there if what you're worried about is why we can't staff our ships. You know, it's really easy.
So and exactly that. Like, you know, it's not intended to be a debate, Greg. It's not intended to be a hearing of people's concerns or people's actual views on the ground. That's not the intention of this consultation. They know it, we know it, and it's about whether or not they are actually, how far they're going to go to try and drive this through, and that's what's concerning me. I mean, I tried to sign up, by the way, for that last night, for the Galway one, and I was doing my best to get on, and it was page error not found. So that was up until about 11 o'clock last night. First thing this morning, 6 o'clock this morning, I went on. It routes you through to an Eventbrite website, run to the app, where you can join a waiting list. There's no tickets. It's not a consultation period. It's not a consultative forum. It is a talking shop with a purpose in mind.
Okay.
That's it. Well, the agenda has been set.
Listen, maybe people will be surprised as to what is to come, but the flag has been waved to see. All right, thanks, Sinead. I appreciate your time this morning. Texter says, shame on you comparing Donegal to residents of Croke Park. This rally is county-wide. You're a disgrace. As usual, you stand up for the money and not the people affected. That's not really the case at all, because 80% of the comments I've read out here are as it relates to people's concerns. Someone mentioned in a text that what people have to put up in Letterkenny, have to put up with in Letterkenny, wouldn't happen anywhere else in the world. And I simply made the comparison that I would say some residents of Croke Park would certainly be able to empathise or sympathise. Okay, so if that makes me a disgrace, well then so be it. I'm a woman in her 70s from Inishowen, and my husband and I were visiting relatives in Glentees, so we had to wait in traffic for quite some time. Greg, I didn't mind in the slightest. In fact, my husband and I were in the car reminiscing about our younger days and laughing, looking at the younger crowd, simply having fun. I get that some people hate the madness it brings, but it's one weekend. Let them live and have fun. I only care that they got home safe. We were all young once and had memories of being free and having unlimited fun. Sitting in that traffic brought a smile to my face. I know not many will agree with me, but a different perspective for you today indeed. Thank you. If you were living in the Lurgy-Brack area at the weekend, you would think differently, Greg, about the rally. It was a living hell. As I say, and unfortunately the way debate and conversation and even trying to strike a balance has become in this day and age, in that if you don't agree, if you try and put a counterpoint just for the sake of the conversation, you're deemed to be against people. That's really not what's going on here. I wouldn't have gone into Letterkenny for all the tea in China. Let me put it to you like that. And I certainly wouldn't like to live here. And there's plenty of people in this building that live in Letterkenny and they had a nightmare weekend. So I get it, right? Okay, as I say, but I'm just trying to keep the debate open for everyone. Good morning, Greg. The rally was great, but I was at Diffing and what I saw was kids as young as 10 or 11 Diffing cars. Would you mind telling me how this is allowed? Where are the guards at these events? I presume it's private property. I don't know. Is there a robust system? I'll come back to that in a second. Could the rally not be rotated? This would give residents a break. Inishowen was used before, for example. It would also share revenue generated to other areas. And this year, the people of South Donegal got a sense of if they have to go about their business, how everyday life can be disrupted by it. Back to our last conversation here before a break. I agree with the President. Ireland should remain neutral. That comes in from John. Greg, the President is right. And for the Fine Gael spokesperson, it is typical for their response. If you don't agree with the narrative, you are deemed right-wing or a Putin supporter. Another, how can it be safe for our Ukrainian families to return to Ukraine during summer now for holidays? I personally know families. I wholeheartedly welcome them here, but why can't they stay in safe parts all year if they can in the summer months? Another, war is a waste of mostly men's lives as fodder, waste of civilians' lives, waste of CO2 and resources. The kids help to feed, house and medicate those most in need in our world. War is the epitome of capitalism production for the sake of it. Warmongering forum needs to be stopped. Ireland does not want her neutrality disintegrated by stealth or unrepresentative, undemocratic warmongering forums. Good morning, Greg. There was a peace deal negotiated in March last year, but Boris flew out and told Zelensky he wasn't allowed to have peace. He had to bleed the Russians as much as he can. We need this government out. All they want is war. Isn't it amazing if the President said we should have abortion up to the moment of birth and men can be women, the government would be applauding him. The President is right for once. Good on him. Another, if government signs us into wars without the Irish people having a vote, then I hope Leo, Simon, Michael, Micheál and sons are the first on the front line. Well, I wouldn't wish that on their sons, but I take your point. Government don't like the President telling the truth. He knows more than the whole lot of them put together. So in terms of that topic, certainly the vast majority of you, if not all of you actually, supporting the President in his remarks.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Renault. As a professional, you want your van to be as efficient as you. Efficient with time and efficient with space. The new Renault Kangoo Van E-Tech 100% electric is made for you. With up to 300 kilometres of range, fast charging as standard, and 3.9 cubic metres of loading capacity. New Renault Kangoo Van E-Tech 100% electric from €96 per week for those who never stop. Offer is made under hire purchase agreement. Instalments are taken monthly. Terms and conditions apply. See Renault.ie.
2 gig full fibre broadband from Virgin Media has landed in Donegal. Hear that, Aoife?
Huh?
Time to lose yourself in the latest Scandi crime series.
I have no idea what's going on here.
You should really put on the subtitles.
Fair point.
Whatever your genre, whatever way you play, Virgin Media is here. Switch today at virginmedia.ie. Virgin Media, it's playtime.
Subject to location and availability.
Are you tired of working from home with constant distractions? Don't let the summer chaos hinder your productivity. Join G-Tech Digital Hub today. Say goodbye to the house full of people and hello to working on your own terms. G-Tech Digital Hub, Termon and Carrigart. Call 074 91 54 291 to secure your spot.
Donegal Vintage Club are having a tractor and vintage and the classic car run this Sunday the 25th in Ramelton. €20 per tractor or car with registration at 12 noon at the quay, followed by refreshments. Proceeds in aid of Care of the Aged, the RNLI and local charities. This ad is sponsored by Horsky's Eurospar and Ice Cream Parlour Ramelton.
All the new Citroen models are on display this week during the open week at Highland Motors, Letterkenny. C3 and C3 Aircross SUV. C4 petrol, diesel and electric. The C5 Aircross SUV in petrol and diesel. Plus Berlingo vans, all in stock and ready for July delivery. Call Mark for a test drive on 9127007. The Citroen Open Week, now on at Highland Motors, Letterkenny. Nothing moves you like a Citroen.
Right, Nadia McGee joins us on the programme now. Hi, Nadia.
Hello, Greg. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
It's great to chat to you, Nadia. You would be a rally fan, I would take it.
Yeah, I love the rally. We would go out and watch it every year if we can. This year, unfortunately, we didn't get to see it as we have a bit of a problem with the car sitting from traffic. But for them things happen, it's all a bit of fun too.
All right. Now, you said you'd be more than happy to come on and talk to us about the traffic and disruption. I mean, overall, do you think the benefits, before we get into that, you believe the benefits of hosting the rally outweigh the negatives, do you?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Like, I'm 28, so I'm young. So to me, like, I've been, like, my other half, he basically Isle man. So we've also got car shows and stuff. So I can see it 50-50 when things can work and things can't work, especially with traffic and stuff. So, no, 100%, 50-50, especially for business. I've worked in Sister Sarah's for a couple of years as well during the rally. So, you know, I can see the good and the bad, you know, from different points of view, from being in traffic and from working in businesses as well.
All right, okay. So do you would you share the view that there are two things going on here? There is the rally itself, and then there is this sort of car meet that coincides with the rally. Do you think it's kind of like that?
Yeah, well, exactly. So for myself, like we would go out and watch the rally and it's great and all the rest. But then when it comes to like traffic, so you are going to get a lot of people from down the country to go and see the rally. But the problem is, what I personally see, so we're from Convoy. On Friday evening, we travelled to Letterkenny. Now, as far as we got was McDade's garage in Topolorgy Brack. So we went over Listillion and then Tiraan, and we got stuck in traffic there. Which our car, unfortunately, it's a lot of people, you might laugh at me, but a lot of people might know this, and my other half always give out to me, if you're sitting in traffic and it's really warm, turn the car engine off, because you can blow the engine, or just put the heat up. So for us, and that way, we ended up not getting out to see the rally. But I think the problem is in the town, is car parks being closed. You know, the way we were down in Apple Green was a Saturday or Sunday, and the amount of cars parked up, and they were closing the gate and letting cars in and out and stuff now, which was quite kind of dangerous for people maybe coming into Letterkenny up the road. You know, even on a normal day in Apple Green, you know, you have to kind of be careful passing there. A lot of cars might just pull out, jump out and stuff. But I think if the town worked together, and I've said that there's so many people this weekend, if the town worked together, and I'm going to just use Dunnes Stores car park and that as an example, if you had all the stalls lined up around in the car park, let the people come in, and like ourselves, I like to go into car shows and just look at the cars, see how people have done them up. Like, a lot of people can't understand that. And the way I see it is, why do you go out and cut your grass and make your garden look nice? Why do you get up in the morning and dress nice and put on your makeup or do your hair? You know, people that are into cars are exactly the same. They just want to make their car look nice, respectable, look different. You know, so
and a lot of the young people, Nadia, they don't really drink or smoke or anything because they put so much of their resources, time and energy into the car itself. That's everything to them.
Exactly. And, you know, as myself, like, I'm involved in, like, some, I don't mean in a bad way, but some people maybe listening might know me. I've been highly involved with football all through my age in my life. I've played in county level only for 1 year, minor level. I've been involved in horses. And, you know, in every sport, it doesn't matter. There's going to be good and there's going to be bad. You know, so, like, and I can tell you, I'm not going to start going into other details, but I can tell you, in GAA, there's people that smoke and take drugs and they drink and this and that. And, you know, it's the same in every sport, and you're going to get that through the rallies as well. You know, it's a be damned if you do and be damned if you don't kind of situation, you know, for the people of Letterkenny too, you know.
Is there an argument, Nadia, for moving, say, for instance, restricting traffic in Letterkenny and moving this element out of town? And then you could have all of that stuff that you talk of. The town could go on about its business and the rally could rally away. And I don't know if we'd be having conversations like this into the future if we did that.
Yeah, well, I think just as I say, like with the organisation, and I feel sorry for yourself, for you the same conversation year in, year out about the same crack. With traffic and stuff and people complaining. But I do believe, like, as I said, there's going to be a certain amount of people making noise, and unfortunately we can't stop that. But I do believe if they organise more, you know, places for people to park, say TK Maxx and stuff, and let them park up, show their cars off, have security that there's going to be one or two that's going to diff and stuff, which is sometimes can be quite dangerous. Where I've seen videos in the past, not in Donegal, but in other places, say the likes of Killarney and stuff, where people maybe been injured and stuff because they're doing silly things. But like organise these places and then use people, people maybe who are maybe doing community service and stuff. Let them pick up the rubbish and get people to help out. Get everyone to help. You know what I mean? Yes.
I think the thing is though, like there's large groups of people, Nadia, and you talked and honestly about living outside of Letterkenny, and your greatest inconvenience wasn't you weren't able to get into it to enjoy the rally that you love so much. But there is quite a big residential population in Letterkenny, and they've got kids that can't sleep at night. There's old people's homes. Do you know what I mean? Like it is disruptive.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh, massively. Like, I have two kids myself. You can probably hear himself in the background here. I have a 1-year-old and I have a 4-year-old coming now. We've had them. Now, don't get me wrong. I live in Convoy, and you wouldn't believe it, down our road, back road. We've had noise. We can actually hear them going from Balbafay to Letterkenny. We live quite close to that main road. Right. We could hear them. But as I say, take the Isle of Man, who have that motorsport every year. The residents give up their, I'm not telling people to do this, but I'm trying to express that people give up their homes to let people go in and enjoy it. They go away for the weekend, and I know loads of people my own age that hate the rally, so they go away on holidays,
and maybe renting a house could pay for that holiday too.
Exactly. Yeah. And even to help with rent and stuff yourself. Sure, we all know the price and cost of everything, But
So you're saying, just to round it up then, you're saying the rally itself really well organised, but you think that the local authorities, the Gardaí, should work together to open up the car parks, make that more accommodating, leave places for bins and stalls. You think that it can be managed with the right will? That's your view.
Yeah, perfectly. Exactly, because we've been to, I don't know if anyone have ever heard of it, maybe a lot of people might never. It's an event called Dubshed. It's in the Econ Centre, where the Barramora show be in. It's been run once a year. It's a car show for German cars. And I'm telling you, it was the most amazing thing ever. They had stalls, they had the cars, there was so much bins. We were at the Mount Errigal yesterday, and fair play to the Mount Errigal, outside when the cars were coming up in the ramp, there was bins in different locations, and the amount of people that used the bins. We were down in Apple Green on Saturday, and the rubbish was horrendous, but there was only one wee small bin outside the shop. So, where are they going to put the rubbish if there's no one, one wee bin? If they had people maybe donating bins in, say, I don't know what places and other kind of skip hires and stuff, maybe half priced for the people of the shops and stuff to throw the rubbish into and stuff, for the people that are watching and stuff, I just think myself, just as someone that goes in, and I enjoy even watching the people going around, it's wild crack, working and even working in lifestyle sports and stuff. We've had 1 year I was working in lifestyle sports, and this creator came in, I had no shirt. His shirt was all ripped. He bought a Donegal top. He wouldn't take the Donegal top off, so he leant over the counter to unscrew the tag. But we just have to laugh at them things, As that person I heard in the text message says, we're all young once. I'm still young. And it's just a bit of crack. It's a bit of fun. Right. I totally understand the noise level. If my wee kids are sore in their ears, and, as I say,
I think
it doesn't matter.
You're getting it from both sides. What's your dream car, Nadia? Or maybe you haven't?
I'd love an X5.
Could you get two? Could you get two baby seats in the back of that? You couldn't you? That's a big enough car.
You'd get if himself was listing a 7-seater if I could. But we only have 2 now. But if I get more, I would.
Well, that's another debate. We could bring you on after 11 for that. All right, now give yourself a break. 4 and 1. My word, you're a sucker for punishment if you want more. I'm only joking. They're an absolute blessing. Nadia, it's been nice speaking to you. Thanks so much, and take care of yourself. No, it's our pleasure, Nadia. Okay, bye-bye. That's another person's opinion there. Sounds like a lovely person. I'm sure many out there know Nadia. Ask that caller why she doesn't buy a field, make it into a car park for people like her, not up to businesses to open their car parks for her. Another, all businesses need the revenue the rally brings in. Surely they can put up with it for 3 days, though did laugh at only 2 drugs arrests. Hi, Greg. They say thousands of people were in Donegal for the rally, but what about the thousands of people who stayed away from going to Donegal because of the rally? Interesting point. Greg, in 2021 there was no rally. The car scene still arrived though. And last one, hi Greg, we had to get an ambulance for my little boy on Saturday night. When we reached Apple Green, the traffic was at a standstill. We couldn't get through. When we got closer to the Port Bridge, the bystanders, young boys on the pavement, began running up in front of cars and got the cars to move out of the way. I just want to say a massive thank you to them and also the emergency services. They did a great job too, from a very grateful mum, and I hope everything's okay now. And on they come. More and more of your messages coming in. Later on, we're going to be speaking to a lady whose house was struck by lightning. I haven't seen thunder and lightning storms like I did yesterday for a long time. Prolonged. Unbelievable. All right, we'll be talking about that and so much more besides in the last hour.
On this week's Deal Debate, we look back at a packed weekend of championship football. Our senior ladies footballers take on Waterford and Lifford, and in the final group game of the new All-Ireland series, our senior men play Monaghan and Omagh. I'll have interviews from both camps, as well as the views of Monaghan legend Desi Moan, Top GA correspondent Declan Bogue, and I'll also be talking with Galway star Shane Moss. That's the Deal Debate this Monday, just after 7pm news, and podcasted on highlandradio.com.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9pm daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
There's pure value on the menu at Lidl. Get great cuts with 25% off Ford B approved sizzle steaks, $2.99. Fancy fine wine? Get 25% off award-winning Ribera del Duero, $8.99. Or our Meadow Fresh range, 20% off on Lidl Plus. Go on, shop without compromise. Go full Lidl today. T's and C's apply. Get the facts. Be drinkaware. Visit drinkaware.ie.
Why leave all the magic moments or great scenes you've captured on your phone sitting there or in the cloud when you can have them printed at McGee's Chemist? Using the McGee's app or one of the in-store kiosks, you can upload your photos from your phone, Google Photos, Facebook or Instagram and have them printed instantly within an hour or in by 10 and ready by 5. See McGee's.ie for more details. Hold your memories in your hand with McGee's Chemist, Letterkenny.
Enhance your skills with SafeTech's part-funded training programs. At SafeTech, we provide courses including first aid, roadworks, people moving and handling, confined spaces, electrofusion and machinery training for Ireland and UK sites. Also online programs such as water hygiene, construction supervisors, safety reps and much more. If you have a group for training, SafeTech will go to you. Contact SafeTech today at safetech.ie and take the first step towards upskilling and safety compliance.
At global healthcare company Abbott, you can build a career with a purpose while helping families live fuller, healthier lives. Our diabetes care business in Donegal is an award-winning site committed to the manufacture of life-changing medical devices. We're looking for permanent full-time process team leaders and engineers to become part of our team. Visit jobs.abbott.com/Donegal.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
OK, Brendan Devaney is going to be joining us. I think the rally overall winners are going to be joining us as well. That and so much more besides. But first, let's get a news update at 11 o'clock and it's over to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The HSE says it is aware of an alleged sexual assault of a resident with an intellectual disability at a nursing home in Donegal. It's understood the woman was assaulted by another resident at the private nursing home on May the 15th. However, the incident was not reported to her family until 2 days later. Gardaí have confirmed that they are investigating. Gardaí, meanwhile, have been praising those who complied and cooperated with them over Donegal Rally weekend. Huge crowds flocked to the county for the annual event, with a major policing operation in place for the duration. Between Friday and Sunday, over 80 arrests were made for a range of offences, including public order offences, intoxicated driving, assault and drug offences. No major incidents have been reported. Strike action has been temporarily suspended by retained firefighters to allow for talks. Negotiations between SIPTU and the local government management service have just gotten underway at the Labour Court. If today's talks fail to achieve a resolution, SIPTU says the all-out strike will go ahead tomorrow as planned. A special meeting of Donegal County Council will be held today. Members will consider whether to publish the County Donegal Development Plan or to make amendments. Works are to be carried out to resolve low water pressure issues in parts of East Donegal. Uisce Éireann has confirmed that a survey carried out in Kinnaderry, Cloughan, Ballybuffet and surrounding areas identified a number of valves that required replacement. Those works are now set to be carried out in the coming months. And Letterkenny is to host its first ever Pride Festival this summer. Letterkenny Pride Festival will take place on August the 19th to celebrate the LGBTQ plus community. One of the organisers, Keely Byrie, says it's an opportunity to celebrate how Ireland has evolved. And those are the latest headlines. We'll be back with an update at 12 noon.
Michaela, thank you very much indeed. OK, back with more in the 9 till noon show after this really short break.
The National Brown Bread Baking Competition, sponsored by Aldi in conjunction with the NPA and ICA, is back. This year's winner will pocket €15,000 and get to sell their prize loaf in Aldi stores for a whole year. The champion will be announced at the National Ploughing Championships in Ratheniska, County Laois. Visit aldi.ie/brown-bread-competition for details. Not trying to butter you up, but we know you can do it. Aldi, everyday amazing.
I live in Ballybuffet in Stranola, and the noise over the weekend was crazy. At stages, I didn't know the difference in the thunderstorm and the noise of cars. It's all so unnecessary, and I'm a big rally fan. Another, Greg just tuned in. You need to split the two events here. The rally is not the same as the car cruises, which are the bulk of the noise and the crowds in the town. Another, it's one weekend. Get over it. I wouldn't look at the rally as if it was passing the front door of the house, but let them enjoy the weekend regardless of what people say. The rally does bring finances into the county. Just ask the people letting out their houses or rooms, or indeed the local GEA club. Some people just look for the negative in everything, and I know there is noise and rubbish, but try to be positive if you can. Thank you, Barry. Another, the rally's not worth having. The only people who make money are the pubs and dozens of chip vans who clear off afterwards and don't pay a penny in rates or taxes. I live in Finn Valley, and it seems that some stages of the rally were held here. Modified cars travelling up to 120 kilometres per hour in 60 zones. I did not see one guard during the whole weekend. Modified cars are not insured, and I would request that you ask the sergeant tomorrow how many cars were seized for being modded and therefore not insured. Now, if you notify your insurance company, then your insurance, they would be insured, I imagine. Anyway, ordinary law-abiding people avoid Letterkenny during the rally, so don't tell me the rally generates millions. What about the money lost by these shoppers? My daughter works in Letterkenny. It's normally a 25-minute journey. At the weekend, it took almost 2 hours. The rally attracts too many of the wrong type who have no regard for the decent people of Donegal. The Gardaí did not appear to be interested in keeping the race in its place. It's downhill spiral, which in my opinion will destroy our reputation as a holiday resort. Another, I can't get over all the people giving out about the rally. I was in Letterkenny on Saturday, not for the rally, but to shop, and all I saw was young people in their cars having a bit of fun. They were all in great form, and I'm over 60. Let the young people have fun because life is too short. Another, there are two separate events happening, the rally and a modified carboy racer meet up. All the problems around Letterkenny are related to the latter, and it's completely unfair to the rally organisations to be blamed for all. Now, I'm trying to not blame, but I'm getting a bit of hassle for that, saying I'm pro-business and pro that, and I'm not sensitive either, and I want you to express any views that you have. And also as well, this is your platform, so the lines are open right now for you. If you are really for it or really against it, come on the radio and discuss it. I'm not here to argue with regular listeners either, by the way. Your views are very much respected and aired and platformed here. 07491 25,000. Don't feel you don't be frustrated by something you hear when you can come on yourself and get your point of view across. It's one weekend, Greg, put up with it. No fatalities or serious injuries, and all went pretty well. That for me is the priority, to be honest with you. That and I said it on Friday, that we're not waking up on Monday to a tragedy. One group of people who don't get half enough praise over rally weekend is James and Eamon Russell and the team from Glenard Plant. Seeing firsthand the absolute disgusting state the main street is every night, and they have it all cleaned up before all businesses open in the morning. Well done to them. Right, OK. And still they come in, and we're going to have to keep reading them out over the next hour because there's so many of you wanting to get involved in the conversation. Brendan Devaney, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
Good stuff. Listen to some of the commentary on the weekend. I like the dynamic between you and Martin, actually. It's interesting.
Just falling in for the big guy. Oisin, listen, it was a brilliant game to be at. I was only thinking, Greg, the last one I did was, I only did one previous in my life, and it was a Roscommon game, and listen, I didn't really enjoy it, but then the game was so poor. It was only then I was chatting to Kieran O'Donnell yesterday, he was talking about that it was obviously an exciting game, it was end to end, so it took me a while, I think, to get into it, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was brilliant to be there, and brilliant for Donegal football. It gave me such a lift. This team is... The turnaround has just been magical, you know. Fair play to the lads, the shift they put in, the management. It was such a brilliant day, such a great buzz out, the supporters out in the pitch in Healy Park after all the players were in top form. Greg, so where we were, 5, 6, 7 weeks ago to where we're at now, it's phenomenal, the turnaround.
Yeah, what I thought was interesting, and there's so much more besides, and there's great success for the ladies too, and we'll get through that, and I'll have to bluff it because I don't have any idea what you've got coming up in the programme, but I think I can guess. What kind of stood out for me in that Donegal game, and as I say, I am an armchair fan, never claimed to be otherwise, was there was a wobble, right? And I think it really came after the substitution in the second half when McBurty came on. But there was a wobble that normally you go, oh boy, here we go. But there was a resilience there to weather that. And that was one of the things that stood out a little bit for me. As an expert, am I on to anything there?
Yeah, I think, Greg, if you think back to the Derry game when a lot of people didn't give us much of a chance in that match, you know, we played a good half against Clare, we'd obviously lost to Down. So people were saying where Derry were at, they were just completely outplaced. That wasn't the case. And when the wobble came against Derry, when Derry got the goal, we responded in that game and we never ever stopped playing. And there's some kind of fortitude that's really come into the lads that wasn't there during the league. And I suppose when things go bad, they can go very bad. And there was so many injuries and things happening. And obviously the manager stepping down and et cetera, et cetera. You had all this bad news in Donegal. So they've managed to turn that round. Now, why that didn't happen, I suppose, in the 6-week block leading into Down, I'm not too sure, because this is like a completely different team now. And I think just from last year, and we don't want to keep harping on about Michael Murphy now, but certainly the way our midfield and our experienced players and our central players had to kind of start to dictate for Donegal, that took such a while to bed in. But now, along with them and all the young players, and literally you could mention everybody in the team, but really the young players come on, even the likes of Kern and McColgan and these boys and young Doherty come in the last day. The shift that they put in as young lads, and then the absolute up and down the pitch ability of, you know, Owen Bam was phenomenal, and particularly I think Darrell Boyle and Jimmy Brennan. I don't want to pick players out, but I think where they went to in terms of what they did for the team, you know, they stepped up to another level. And I think that on the back of, listen, I could name the whole team. It was absolutely phenomenal out there.
We talk about what's changed, and I go back to that conversation you had with Patrick McBurty, and also to every time he speaks publicly, he uses it as an opportunity. And I don't know if the leadership's coming from him or what have you, but even speaking after the game yesterday, he was very pointed in his remarks, even though he paid some of the game and ran around and what have you, but he still had the presence of thought to talk about some people decided to walk away from Donegal, and fair play to them. But the people that are left, and I'm paraphrasing him here, want to play for Donegal, and they're proud to pay for it. Now, I don't know if he was making a point there as well either. I don't know. It was Michael Murphy asked him the question, but I presume he wasn't talking to him. He wasn't talking about Michael. But anyway, I just thought it was really important that he said, or what it came across as important, that the people that are there, the squad, are incredibly proud and they want to do as well as they can. And they're kind of like saying, you know, F the begrudgers, if you know what I mean. They've always had confidence. They've got the league behind them and they know what they want to do. Is there something to that?
Yeah, I think it's Paddy's nature. Listen, you know, me and him had a few words, I suppose, after that Roscommon thing. We had them out in the pitch just about that interview. Now, I said to him, Paddy, it turned my stomach to ask you about that. And he was on about negativity and that. And I was like, Paddy, sometimes you cannot but tell the truth, you know, what you see and what you get. I said, listen, I'm completely enthused by this. I mean, you would have heard it in my commentary, Greg. I'm a freaking huge Donegal fan. I'm mad to see the boys do well, but that doesn't mean that when things are going bad then, and you have to be some way critical in that, you know. So you probably have to understand the two sides of that, but certainly Patrick's nature, he is quite bullish about that.
I like it.
You know,
and I think too, I think you played an important role in that conversation because, as you say, you were respectful. You clearly didn't want to go down that line, but you know what? Yeah. If it lights a fire, if it you know what I mean? Listen, if it tightens the sinews in the neck, hey, whatever it takes. But you weren't disrespectful. But, you know, if part of proving you wrong is the motivation, hey, we'll take that.
Happy days. Listen, he did say a few things to the press last night there, and some of them were a bit taken aback. But I said, lads, his blood's up now. He's just come on as a sub. He's probably mad to be more involved in the action. He's probably firing off. I said, listen, that just shows a bit of spirit.
Yeah,
I
love it.
I wasn't in any way worried. And anyways, you know, we all love football, but sometimes I suppose it can be hard to understand the criticism. But listen, you have to be real as well at times, guys. But as I said to Paddy, listen to the DL debate. Listen, I'm always positive.
Did he say he listened? And anyway, come here. Another thing too.
He said he hadn't time.
Come here, Patrick. He probably listens to the 9 till noon show. Hiya, Patrick. I'm one of your biggest fans. But I'll say one thing. Those fellas, and particularly the young fellas, and it's the same with the women, we'll talk about them in a second, they go onto that pitch to play a sport that they love. They have feelings too. They feel all of the criticism. I'm not too worried about the feelings of journalists. No harm, be it my feelings or anyone else's. Suck it up, lads and lassies. It's all part of the game. But those boys and girls have to put up with an awful lot of personal criticism that their families hear as well. So, and they're not somewhat anonymous either or a byline. So you know what? As long as we get to where we're going, we'll all be all right.
Yeah, listen, Greg, totally agree. There's a balance there, but certainly for people like me, listen, I have wild time for Patrick. You know, when he first burst the scene, I used to text away at him and, you know, try and give him a bit of encouragement and advice and all that. So now I'm in a different kind of place where you're judging football in some way, but it's always from as much as a positive angle as we can. It's just things in that time, particularly up Roscommon, Greg, where I couldn't grasp anything that was positive. But listen, as you said, Donegal have completely turned this in their head. They went into this group. No one was giving them a chance. It was whether it was going to be Derry or Monaghan, one or two. So the fact that Donegal's been able to produce a performance against Monaghan to that, going 5 points up in the game against a Monaghan side, you know, completely destroyed Tyrone in the second half. Should have beat Derry.
But Monaghan were lacklustre, weren't they? They were like... There was periods watching that game and I was thinking if there were a top 4 team in there, we would have struggled. Monaghan didn't seem to. But can I just go back to one other thing that Patrick McBurty said as well, if you don't mind, and then we'll move on. Because you talk about context. And again, this is why I think he's a very clever guy. Don't know him at all. But he did give context. He says, look, in that game, I think it was against Derry, we were without 10 players. So if you're writing about it, there's the context. Now, you did say that, and you have said that. This is not you versus Patrick, and I'm not suggesting that for a second. But he did give context. He says, well, like what I heard from him, and I could be wrong, is, you know what, if you're going to criticise us, at least criticise us in the context that what team could be down 10 players that started against Derry in a previous game and be at the same level. That's what came from his comments to me anyway.
Yeah, and listen, Greg, I don't really feel need to say that because we've been saying that so much that for Donegal in terms of everything that's happened and the players that retired and the players were injured, no county could deal with that. But that's why I'm so amazed and so proud of the boys. Somehow the management and the lads have now dealt with that in terms of they're back competing. The big thing when we got into the championship, Greg, was could we even compete? And I think in that Derry game, even though we lost, I was in top form after because I thought we were in that game and you know, you're talking even about the likes of Michael Langan that got injured the game before. If he was even in the mix, you thought maybe we could have taken Derry. So going into Monaghan, you're thinking, right, we matched up to Derry. Monaghan seeming a similar kind of level. Would they just have enough for us? Maybe as the game entered the latter stages, maybe they would open us up. That didn't happen. Greg. We bossed the game. So, I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal from our guys and massive respect. I can't wait now for the quarter-final. Greg.
What do you think of that?
What do you think? It's Tyrone at home.
I mean, do you salivate at the thought of that, or would you like to have seen... I mean, it's well rehearsed, this match. There is home advantage there. I mean, are you happy with that, or is there another name you'd like to have seen pop out?
Well, listen, you're never going to shy away from anything, Greg. That's number one. The whole championship was turned on its head at the weekend by nearly all underdogs winning. So all the teams that were supposed to be in 3, and most people were saying that was us as well, ended up in 2. But then the teams that you thought were potential All-Ireland contenders, they've ended up in 3, the likes of Tyrone and Mayo and sides like that. So everything changed, Greg. Now, after the way we played against Monaghan, there's no reason at all. Listen, if you had said to me after the down game, you're going to end up playing Tyrone in a knockout quarter-final, I'd have said, right, we're in trouble. that's all changed now. We're back now at a level we can say we're going to go and beat Tyrone. And that's what these lads and I say Aidan and Paddy and the management and the whole background team have done. So, listen, we're at home, Greg. Derby, it's going to be a packed house. And Donegal people now can get out and really get behind this team, because they've been in some shift this last couple of weeks to get back on track.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Talking about turnarounds, great win for the women.
Listen, again, Donegal GA, from all the stuff we were speaking weeks ago.
It was a write-off, wasn't it? It was a write-off.
What's happening? I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, phenomenal. I mean, Maxie Curran and all the girls that stepped away, they've all slowly come back. I mean, Geraldine McLaughlin, there's no word of this. She's in there at the weekend, came on, sub. So Donegal are almost back up to full complement. They beat Waterford, very important to win your home games. They've beaten Waterford now at home. They're in a great position now to go on and try themselves to get into a quarter-final, Craig. So listen, the Donegal GA has pepped up. Of course, all hurlers got right into the Nicky Rackard final, unfortunately, just coming up short in that. So, fantastic. Listen, even Fergus McGee out there, the chairman, absolutely buzzing in Healy Park after the game. You know, the county board, everybody's been under so much pressure. There was this huge lift, and the teams now have given us this lift. So, yeah, Tyrone at home. What more can we want, to be honest, Greg? They're the days that you live for in football. It's going to be an unbelievable occasion.
All right, what else is on the show? So you're going to be right across those two and looking forward as well. All of that action. What else is coming up?
Desi Moan's going to be on the show. He's going to be crying in his suit. Per Desi, former Monaghan legend, great fella. He's going to be coming on to give us a perspective on his lads, as he said, were they not up to the mark against their boys. We'll see his views on that. Dickie Bogue's going to round up the whole All-Ireland series for us. He's a top GA correspondent. And Shane Walsh, current Galway star and one of the best forwards in the country, he actually is coming on for give us a few words on where he's at this season and where Galway are at, because of course our Armagh boys turned him over at the weekend. So Shane Walsh is on the show as well. That's all coming up this evening. We'll have reaction from, of course, the managements, the ladies and the Donegal camp as well. That's all up on HighlandRadio.com if you want to tune in and see that. So we'll be reviewing all that this evening, Greg.
Right, you're really digging into the contacts book. Well done, good man. And you got and there's Oisin in the back seat with a gun to your head talking about the website. Listen, you're a real company man now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll get a pay raise.
Very good. Come here, and we're going to talk about your recent trip as well in a separate format. Thanks for that, Brendan. Take care of yourself. Brendan Devaney there, the DL debate there, supported by Sister Sarah's.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
The 9 till Noon Show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Do you currently have vacancies that need urgently filled? Have you tried various ways to find new staff but didn't succeed? Let Highland Radio help you source and fill your current vacancies in the most cost-effective way. Simply sign up to our new job spot and we will tell our listeners about your vacancies both on air and online. Every Monday, Wednesday and Friday during our primetime shows, we will broadcast the latest job opportunities across the Northwest and into counties Derry and Tyrone. All job listings will be available online at highlandradio.com. For more information, contact the advertising team on 07491 25322 or email advertising@highlandradio.com. Highland Radio, we're here for you.
We all want to live in a more sustainable world, so let's start by living in more sustainable homes. SSE Airtricity makes it easy with the Generation Green Home Upgrade. Our award-winning one-stop shop initiative partners with experts in insulation, heating, solar, windows and doors to make your home more energy efficient and cost-effective. We do all the hard work for you with end-to-end project management and a streamlined SEAI grant application process. Discover your home's BER rating at sseairtricity.com/home upgrade and see how a Generation Green home upgrade can benefit you. Registered with the SEAI for home energy upgrades. Grants offered are provided by the Government of Ireland through the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland.
Planning on renovating your garden this summer? Then look no further than Daleside Garden Furniture. With a full range of sizes and garden sheds, wooden and steel, summer houses, playhouses, outdoor canopies, fencing and much more. Find us on social media. Made to measure and one-off designs are our speciality. Call today on 087 112 4766.
Highland Radio time checks with Expressway. Travel Route 32 from Letterkenny to Dublin when you book online and travel for less. Expressway, bringing you the time at...
The time's 21 minutes past 11, and our Monday focus, it's going to be a brief one today because we've so much to get through. But we're joined in studio by Pamela Reid from the Kilmacrennan Froiga Club. Good morning to you, Pamela. Thanks so much for coming in.
Good morning.
Right, okay. On Saturday, the 24th of June, you're holding a fundraising disco in the Mulroy Woods Hotel in Milford. This is going to be kind of good fun, isn't it? 80s and 90s with DJ Bosco. What's it all for?
So basically, we have back when the schools closed for COVID. The day the schools closed, there was myself and 3 other ladies, mothers, should I add, decided to set up a youth club in Kilmacrennan. So we were challenged with COVID, first of all, but we managed to get it up and running. And last year, myself and 2 other leaders went and got training for Leadership of Life programme. So basically, we rolled out that programme, and we are delighted to say that 11 of our students managed to get accepted into Maynooth to do Module 2. So they've completed Module 1 with themselves down in Kilmacrennan, and now they will be travelling to Maynooth now in... the end of July.
Great. Did you expect it to, from those initial conversations and meetings, to develop quite into what it has?
Not whatsoever.
I didn't think so. In a good way.
In a good way. So basically, the cost of getting the kids to Maynooth is like 300 per child. So it's over 3,000 we're looking for. And obviously, we can't, just the times that are in it, to go and ask families to pay that kind of money is a lot. So we've come up with a plan of having an 80s 90s disco, and well I'll call it the Mulford Inn, but it's Mulroy Woods.
I know and I know exactly what it is. So this is part of a fundraising to fund these scholarships, are they, or what would you describe
basically so basically it's a Leadership for Life, and when they complete it, which there's 3 modules in total, they will get their certificates out of Galway University at the end of it. So it will help towards, entering college if that's what they wish to do later on.
And you guide me on this, okay? But with the age group, they're 15 to 18. Is this alongside the studies that they're currently doing, or is this giving options to people who maybe don't fit in as well as others do into the school system, which I didn't, by the way. So I can say that.
I hear you, Greg.
I can say that with confidence.
So this is alongside of their day-to-day schoolwork. This is an extracurricular activity, which I suppose there's a lot of kids out there that are into GAA and football and rugby and, have a lot of sporting. The children that are with us are maybe just not so sporty. Don't get me wrong, some of them do play sports.
No, I know what you're on about, but the real passion may lie elsewhere.
Exactly, and it's just to help those children that are with us to just develop their skills and their interests. And we do a lot of different things on club nights, like making pizzas. The older ones tend to relax, the younger ones are full of energy and kicking the ball about and stuff, but it is a good outlet for them outside of the school that don't have the sports. So having come up with the idea of the 80s 90s disco, I just wanted to put it out there that we would love everybody to come along and support it.
Yeah, indeed. Now, just one more thing on these young people as well. It's not just an investment in them either, because hopefully they live and settle in the Kilmacrennan area. They will be tooled up, hopefully, to benefit their peers or the community or what have you. There's a benefit there as well beyond their personal benefit, presumably.
Absolutely.
Well, we hope anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Module 1 has them coming up with their plans for the community, and they will link with Smart Villages now for Module 3. So basically, they'll go now to Maynooth and they'll learn how to do research and stuff, and then they'll come back and they'll do Module 3 within the community and roll out, hopefully develop their ideas. Some of them, one in particular, they want to do a fundraiser to get Christmas lights for Kilmacrennan and then get the community out to help put them up for Christmas. That's just, it's simple, but it's
fresh set of eyes, fresh enthusiasm.
Yeah,
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So the program enables young people to identify their strengths, develop a leadership vision, understand their leadership style, explore the challenges and difficulties of leadership, and so on. Apply methods of conflict resolution, complete a project as you've outlined there. In one instance, it's something that greatly benefits the community and brings joy to so many other people. Right, so use our fundraising to send these young people on to these courses. So 80s and 90s discos. I'm a bit young for this.
I didn't laugh.
Not only did you laugh, but you almost fell out of your chair.
You're never
all
too
right,
young.
90s then. All right, the 90s. Yes, I remember the 90s. But come here, you've got DJ Bosco. There was a couple of sort of throwback discos that have been happening around the area lately. Hugely successful because people are nostalgic and they still want to go out and listen to the music they like. I would love to see clubs cater. The way it is now, it's like if you're over 21, you're on the scrap heap almost. It'd be great to have an environment where people of all different ages can go and enjoy the same music.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But anyway, that's just my opinion. Right, so talk to me about the night. What's planned?
So basically, on the night, we have a link for Eventbrite where you can buy your tickets online. And then the doors will be opening at 10 o'clock. John will be there blasting out the tunes, all being well. And we have had a few inquiries about food. Are they going to do their chicken and chip box? So I have to speak to Mulroy Woods about that, which I'm sure there'll be no problem whatsoever. And I do believe there has been a few areas where they've organised their own bus to get there and back.
Great.
So
buy the tickets and support them, but go.
Oh, go!
Yeah,
surely go. We want to
go.
fill the house.
And just sorry, I want to say one thing as well. In supporting these young people, 11 of these young people, they've already passed their level 1 in the Leadership for Life program. Absolutely. So they've already done their bit of commitment to show that they're in for it. So this is about supporting them on to level 2 and 3. Yeah. So it's not just, we're not dragging them off the street here. Yeah. These are young people that already have the interest. So Absolutely. You get a great night out, boogieing to 80s and 90s, having a snack box. Chicken and chips, we call it a snack box, it's up to you, and just having fun, getting dressed up. And I think a lot of people get dressed up for these, don't they, in the era.
People have messaged me, asked me, are we dressing up? And I says it's absolutely optional because I know
I can
some
see
people
you
would
in
be
a
like,
neon headband or something.
Absolutely, and the leg warmers,
purple tights,
and the fishnet tights.
But that's the kind of fun people can have.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because you're not going to look out of place. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And you can have a lot of fun, and people have great memories as well. It's going to be the full works. It's a fundraising disco in the Mulroy Woods Hotel in Milford. It's 80s and 90s with DJ Bosco. And when is it on, actually? I'm looking for here.
This Saturday, the 24th.
This coming Saturday. So it's all very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, how do people book tickets to get along?
So we have a link on Facebook.
What do you search? Is it Kilmacrennan and Freuga Club?
Kilmacrennan and Freuga should bring it up. It's on my page. Maybe we could share it to the Highland Radio page.
Of course we will.
Right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So there's a link there, and the tickets are €15 each. It's simple. Just put in the details. It's Eventbrite link. And book it from there. Yeah.
And in this day and age, it's cheap with the young ones paying 30 quid into a.
I know. I'm like going, is that too much? And John was like going, a bit much, Pamela. I was like, no.
But it's going to be good fun. You can see it's in the spirit of that. And do get dressed up and get your tickets. And as I say, reward the efforts of these young people already and the likes of Pamela Reid and the Kilmacrennan Freuga Club in giving these 11 people a further leg up. Because the whole area is going to benefit from it.
Absolutely.
And you'd expect people to come from far and wide. Saturday night, what time does it kick off at?
10 o'clock.
Is there a slow set?
Well,
will there be a chance? Will there be a chance for romance?
It hasn't been asked for.
Well, it's no husband and wife were asking for it. So who was asking?
It actually was.
Oh, we're going to see renewed vows and stuff, aren't we? Right, okay. It's going to be good fun. Anyway, you can see it's going to be good fun. All right, okay. And come here. It's amazing. So there was no Youth Freuga Club until you got together as such recently, was there?
no Freuga club in the locality.
Which comes with the structures and
one in
supports as well.
Letterkenny.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's great. It has all the backing that, you know, and support is there as and when needed, you know, so they're very good with us.
Right, okay. Listen, Pamela, the best, I hope it's packed. As I say, it's great if people buy tickets, but it's one of those ones, go as well. Do you know what I mean? Go as well and have a bit of crack with it, because you can tell it's going to be good fun. And we still haven't got chicken and chips confirmed, but Pamela seems somewhat optimistic. She's rushing down to the fancy dress now to get her purple tights and fishnets. And headband. All right, okay. And also, we can confirm it's incredibly likely that there'll be a slow set, a chance for romance. But leave, as the principal at the school said, leave enough space there for the Holy Spirit. Don't get too close. All right, okay, we're going to link that on our Facebook, Pamela. It's on Kilmacrennan Freuga Club. It's on Pamela Reed's as well. It's just €15 to support these 11 young people and have a great night of 80s and 90s nostalgia with DJ Bosco in the Mulroy Woods Hotel. Is there any walk-up opportunity, or is it all ticket only?
Preferably ticket only.
Okay,
but
you want to know the numbers? Let us know on Friday.
Because we do need to... We do need to know.
Okay, let us know on Friday if you want.
Okay.
And we'll announce it if
Perfect.
Is that good?
Yeah. That's
all right,
fine.
Pamela Reid, listen, thank you so very much indeed.
Thank you.
We really appreciate your time in here, and we'll be back talking about the rally. In fact, we're going to be talking about the rally winners after these.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Conor McCready's Country Tea Party in aid of the Donegal Hospice takes place this Sunday 25th in the Orchard Inn, Letterkenny from 1 till 5 p.m. Featuring Keelan Brown, Simon Peters, Paul McCall, Killian McLaughlin, Elaine Boyle, Johnny Haughey and more. This ad is sponsored by the Orchard Inn.
Choosing the perfect stove is a big decision. Here at Charles Bunner & Sons Ballybuffet, we are one of Ireland's leading dealers in stoves and ranges in a variety of styles and sizes at exceptional prices. And with our professional advice, we're sure we'll find the perfect one just for you. So call 074 9131 700 or visit thestovestore.ie.
You know that guy I've been seeing? Yeah? Turns out my sister's been seeing him too. Oh, really? And I heard he's been seeing Siobhan at number 56. And Declan. Your brother? Yep.
Specsavers opticians and audiologists own their stores, so your care is their business, which can make them rather popular.
I've got something to tell you. I've got half an hour with them this afternoon.
Specsavers, your care is our business.
With July around the corner, it's time to get your 232 ordered. With low finance rates, it's time to find out why Nissan is dominating the Irish market. With petrol, e-power hybrid and electric models. Call into iMotors today. We're sure to have a Nissan model for you.
Want to live a more sustainable lifestyle, but not too sure how to start? Join me, Donna Marie Doherty, every Tuesday at 12:30 for It's Ours to Protect to learn all the tips and tricks. Ours to Protect is funded by Commission Limon with a television licence fee and is a partnership between Highland Radio and the Independent Broadcasters of Ireland. Check out ourstoprotect.ie for more info.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Are you tired of working from home with constant distractions? Don't let the summer chaos hinder your productivity. Join G-Tech Digital Hub today. Say goodbye to the house full of people and hello to working on your own terms. G-Tech Digital Hub, Termon and Carrigart. Call 074 91 54 291 to secure your spot.
Crawford Tiles and More Castlefin. Summer offers now on. 10% off everything for the month of June. Wall and floor tiles, all sizes from small to extra large. Brand new selection of wood flooring in stock. Over 60 bathrooms on display. Tile and bathware clearance available outside. Late night opening on Thursday till 8. Closed Saturdays. Crawford Tiles and More Castlefin.
Riff Shop, Dublin's hottest music group, will be performing live at Sky Venue, the Abbey Hotel, Donegal Town, this Saturday 24th. Doors open at 11, tickets €10 before midnight, 15 after. Join us for a night of incredible music and non-stop dancing with Riff Shop live at Sky Venue, the Abbey Hotel, Donegal Town, this Saturday night.
An bhfuil tú de chúnaí a deachatá níos sinne. Déitach Pipi Louis a bheith i de heach. Déitach Louis a bheith i de isce i tal anól mar thora ar seo. Tá deontas fiú sús le €5,000 ar fáil inis chun taú leis an gostas athe láthir a chlúdach. Den iiritas an scéim deontas lesúchan Louis baile inniu trí de údar as áitiúil. Chun tuile óla se áil túr cuairt ar gov.ie /lead pipes. Ar na húirt chugat ag rialtas na héireann.
The best businesses never stop beginning. So whether you're starting or growing your business, we want to make it easier for you. At Bank of Ireland, our faster, easier online loan applications help your business take the next step. Search Bank of Ireland Business Loans. Bank of Ireland. Begin. Lending criteria, terms and conditions apply. Over 18s only. Bank of Ireland is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Okay. Very welcome back to the programme. We have the Donegal International Rally winners in studio with us. They are Callum Devine and co-driver Noel O'Sullivan. Gentlemen, welcome into the studio. Congratulations to both of you. How does it feel?
It feels good, hey. Feels very good, hey. Yeah, get our name on that trophy.
What went right for you over the weekend?
A couple of things all weekend. Like it was a good battle all weekend, 3 days. Yeah, probably the last day just trying to stay out of bother. I would say.
And did you see? I mean, there was just a downpour in the afternoon. Were you in before that, or were you in that as well?
We were in the mix it, so it was obviously some stages was dry, some stages was wet. It was just trying to. Stuck in the middle, but we managed it all.
And for the layperson, what does that mean, like in terms of tyre selection and what have you? I mean, what did you go out on, and what problems could that have presented down the road?
Yeah, we could have ran into different problems. Obviously, the wrong tyre on, but yeah, I think we managed it okay with the tyre. I don't think there would have been a right tyre to be on, but yeah, we managed it all right with a soft slick, but. Oh, we're happy.
And I mean, you were on track to win last year. You're doing very well at the very least. You went out on day 3. Did you expect to sort of bounce back and right that wrong, I suppose you could say? Not wrong on your behalf. These things happen the next year. I mean, that must be particularly satisfying.
Yeah, exactly. It probably makes this one a wee bit sweeter, so it does. And lifts a wee bit of like a monkey off his shoulder, obviously, from last year. So no, we were delighted this year. And, yeah, we were delighted.
And although you had a bit of time to spare, anything can happen. That can disappear very, very quickly, can't it?
Yeah, it definitely can. I found out that the hard way last year, so we were in the lead, and yeah, it can all go wrong very quickly.
Yeah, how was it? What did you think of the Donegal Town Ballyshannon element of the rally day one?
Brilliant, to be honest. I enjoyed the stages. They were quite different than what they usually are. Quite bumpy and quite narrow, but yeah, it was a good and it was nice wee change. Obviously from the usual, and yeah, it takes out a Letterkenny for a day, which is a wee change. So.
Yeah, exactly. What's your favourite stages, if you don't mind me asking?
Probably Knockalla or Fanad. They're 2 great stages, so they're 2 classics. So we had good runs over them too, so we're happy.
They're the staples. What was it like for you, Noel, on board?
I suppose it was calm inside in the car, like it normally is. But the last few stages, alright, seemed like it would never end. We were hearing rattles and bangs out of the car that we haven't heard before. But yeah, it was great to get over the line. It was a bit of unfinished business after last year, but yeah, it was great. It was an awesome feeling.
Yeah, I would say so. Brilliant achievement. And Callum, you have Donegal connections as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I have cousins in Dunfanaghy, so we're doing stuff. So yeah, that's yeah.
And your dad also a rally driver?
He did, yeah. Seamus, he rallied back in the day too. So yeah, I've been coming to this rally since there was no height falling him as well. So yeah, it's the one, a special one to get.
Brilliant stuff. Oisin Kelly, our head of sport too, was all over it all weekend. And I should mention Kevin Galler's with us as well. We'll speak to you in a second, Kevin, if that's all right. But put into context this victory for Callum and Noel.
Well, it's huge for their careers, Greg. So it is.
we all know what Donegal means. Rallying wise, it's the big one. It's the one that everybody wants to win. People would actually take one in the championship or one in Donegal over one in the championship. It's that huge within the sort of rallying circles. And Callum's name is now alongside some of the great Irish drivers that like. You look at Bertie Fisher, like Andrew Nesbitt, Manus Kelly, Callum Devine stuck in with all these names now, and the trophy and his name's going to be on it. And there was a car actually crossed the ramp yesterday. We were talking about beforehand, an Opel Adam, which as a car would have been used by younger drivers and juniors. And that exact car crossed the ramp yesterday. It's been driven by a guy from Bundoran. But Callum started out in that car with a dream of, I want to get to Donegal and I want to finish Donegal.
Yeah.
And now looking, how many years ago was that, Callum?
Yeah, 2016 or so.
In 2016, that's where he was. And now we're here in 2023, and this man's the top rally driver in the country at the minute because he's won Donegal. And Noel, of course, coming a long way from Kerry the whole way up to Donegal, and that means so much to him as well. But these guys have won 3 in the bounce in the championship now. Greg, they're the form team, so they are, and it's a fantastic victory for Callum because he's so much history with the event through his dad. He was here as a cub standing in fields watching his father Seamus drive round and various different pieces of machinery, and to have the scenes that we had yesterday down in Port Salin again was fantastic because the whole team was there, the family was all there. The tears was dripping Callum as he jumped out of the car. It's all part of it. So it is, Greg. It means so much. And there's one thing about the victory is it's a Callum and Noel's one is a very welcomed victory in Donegal. It's one that the fans will really have an attachment to.
It's a young man's game now. You might send a few older guys into retirement.
Myself and Seamus McGettigan were talking about it yesterday in the car. If you look at some of the guys there, like Declan Boyle, Gareth McKeel, former winners, even Gary Jennings and Rory, who had a top 10 finish, trying to stay on the tails of these young boys. Like the likes of Callum and Josh Moffin. Now Josh unfortunately had that off yesterday and Fanad, which handed Callum a big lead, and it was just a matter of him getting the car home. And then to have the British Rally, 3-time British Rally champion Matt Edwards here as well, was huge.
If I remember correctly too, and I'm sure it's the same, Callum. I think last year's winners weren't happy that you went off, if you know what I mean. Like, you want to beat the guys.
Yeah,
everyone finishing the finishing line. Are remembering that correctly? Like, there's no glory in it, like that someone crashes off, even if they've a good lead, because you want to beat the best actually on the tower, don't you?
Oh, they do. But like for Callum, who last year went out in the first day, we were all wondering from a media point of view and fans, we're going, what is Callum Devine going to do now? He's leading the rally. There's just under 5 seconds in it on a Sunday. Josh Moffat's going to have the tail up because he put in good times to chunks out him on Saturday. And on the Sunday morning, used to see Andrew Nesbitt always do this. Used to see the greats of Donegal do it. Let's make a statement on High Glen. Who's going to come out of High Glen? And we were talking with Killian and on the pace notes, and I made the prediction: if Callum Devine comes out of this, he's going to win Donegal. It took 7 seconds out of the man that was chasing him down in one stage. It took 13 seconds out of him in 2. So the mentality from him at that stage on a Sunday morning, telling the rest of them, hey, I'm going to take you on here and I'm going to win this thing. It's up to you now to catch me.
I won't get too deep in it, but I mean, there is a big psychological element to this column too, isn't there?
It is. Andrew Nesbitt was class at that sort of stuff. And he pulled it off yesterday. Fair play to Callum. He pulled it off yesterday. Now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can do the best you can do, Callum. Noel will do the best he can do. There's so many variables to get the car around, to keep the car on the road. Like, so much has to go right along with the skill and dedication to win an event like this, doesn't there, over the 3 days?
Yeah, exactly. There's so many things that have to go right. Look, I have a great team of guys around me too. Like, they have to be on. Sorry, great team. Sorry, there's a great team of guys around me too. We're keeping the car going, all weekend, and like, there's so many things that have to go right. As you say, tyre choice, car running faultlessly, and everything, and then obviously, yeah.
You just did it. All right, also with us is Kevin Gallagher, retained the 2-wheel crown with Ryan Moore as navigator. Darien T90 GTR. Kevin, congratulations on your weekend.
Thank you.
What was it like for you?
No, it was a great weekend. We sort of pushed hard from the start and just kept the pressure on the whole way, so we were happy. We had a I suppose, comfortable lead sort of midday Saturday, so we just kind of kept the pressure on, and look, with no dramas, no hassle with the car. It was just a nice clean weekend.
Yeah, it's nice when it goes like that, isn't it?
It is.
How did you find the new stages down south and obviously the old standards?
The new stages, actually, they're quite nice stages. Didn't quite suit the car because the car is a bit wider than some of the other cars at the rear end, but the first stage especially didn't suit us. But actually, I was kind of went in with a game plan that if we came out sort of 20 seconds down, I would have been happy. But when we came out leading Friday evening, I was delighted.
Brilliant stuff. And you kind of have a double hat on too, because your company is involved in engines for your competitors. Talk to us about that.
We basically have a company, KGP Engineering, and we build basically engines and a lot of rally engines. So look, we probably had over 40 engines doing the rally as well. So look, you've kind of your company hat on, and you're out for the weekend's crack as well. Like, so no, it's good. Like, and with good results. Like most of I think the top 4 or maybe 5 in the national all had my engines.
That's all right. It's a double win for you. All right. You have one of them, Callum? Do you?
Oh, I don't. We run different engines in my class, but
of course. Well, if I was Oisín Kelly, I'd have known that, but I'm not. Right, obviously. Okay, good stuff. Right, well done, Kevin. What's next for you, Callum? Now, season-wise, career-wise, I mean, what are the targets for you?
Yeah, obviously we go back now to the Tarmac Championship. As Oisín says, we won the last three events now in the championship, and I think now we moved into the lead now ahead of Josh. So yeah, the next event for us is Cork, I think. So yeah, we'll get ready for that, and yeah, hopefully we can push on with the championship in there.
And where does Donegal stand in the rank of rallies that you want to win?
That's the pinnacle. That's the one. That's
what we're going to do.
As you'll take this over anything, to be honest.
All right, Osh, a word from you, if that's all right. I mean, it's great that everything passed off without incident.
Yeah. And congratulations to Eamon and his team, the COC. Yeah. They put on a big effort, and it was a very successful rally. And fair play to them. They ran it as best they could, and they got through it with no hiccups. And there was a large number of crews actually finished on the ramp yesterday, Greg. And listen, finishing Donegal means as much to the guy that was 90th on the road, and even coming 5th in his class, whatever it was. That means just as much to him as what one in Donegal does to Callum Devine. But no, fair play to the guys in studio here, because the effort that they put in at the weekend was tremendous and fully deserving of their success.
Yeah, indeed. And well done to you, Oisín, as well. Not that we like to pass our own backs, but well done. There's a lot in it to you, Chris.
We enjoyed following these boys.
Well, why do you moan so much in advance?
I don't give out.
All you do is cry. Donegal rally's coming up. No, he doesn't. He loves
stop telling lies. It's not like that.
He absolutely.
Well done to Donegal.
Yeah,
by the way.
I know.
At the weekend.
Okay. Listen, continued success, Callum. Thanks so much for calling in. Really do appreciate it. The morning after, it's all different now, Osh, isn't it? Everyone's fresh.
Well, I'm fresh.
Well, I know
these boys aren't.
Okay.
I went home last night, Greg.
I want to know which eye drops and sweets you're using, because I could do with some of them sometimes. All right, Callum Devine, co-driver Noel O'Sullivan, winners of the Donegal International Rally. Continued success and safety to you. And as well, Kevin, thank you so much for calling up. Congratulations, retaining the two-wheel crown with Ryan Moore as navigator. Never easy retaining. It's always it's a nice thing.
Oh, it is, yeah, definitely. Look, we can close a few times to...
Is that 3 in a row or 3 in total?
No, that's
try and do 3 in a row next year.
3 in a row next year.
2 in a row, and I led it one other year and crashed. And Noel actually sat with me in 2018. We finished second, so we did that year. So I've kind of come close.
Well, it's all. I mean, Noel's obviously the secret here, isn't it? All right, gents. Thanks very much, Callum, Noel, and Kevin. Really appreciate you calling in, and thanks very much, Oisín, as well, and thanks to your team for keeping those of us who couldn't get around the various stages right across all the action. I mentioned Chris, didn't I? Chris, Seamus as well. 40 years he won it. this year. This is the 40th anniversary, which is
40th anniversary.
Quite a remarkable achievement, isn't it?
It is, and he behaved himself all weekend. That was more like a chauffeur for.
This is a no-spin zone here.
It was the president being driven around in the Highland Radio car. That's what it was at the weekend. So.
All right.
But 40 years ago that they won it, so great memories for Shane.
Remarkable achievement. All right, we'll be back with more shortly.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate holiday loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Well, Grace, how are you today?
I'm good. I've just been down to the Made to Measure Fireplaces showroom in Creasla. They have an incredible selection of over 40 colours for kitchen worktops. And guess what? For a limited time, they're offering a 40% discount on any electric fire when you purchase a worktop there.
40%? That's an amazing deal, Grace.
Absolutely. And trust me, if the discount alone doesn't sway you, their huge selection of fireplaces, stoves, wood pellet burners, beams and stone cladding certainly will.
Contact Made to Measure Fireplaces Creasla on 074 91 38 365 on Facebook, Instagram and on mtmfireplaces.ie.
Summer is here, and that's why Super Value is making sure it's the summer of savings. Enjoy great offers like selected Pampers nappies and pants and Fairy Pods and powder, any 3 for €30, exclusive to Real Rewards members only, and money off vouchers every week on the app. For a summer of savings, it's got to be Super Value.
Summer reductions on your favourite brands at Brian McCormick Sports, Brooks and Asics with 20% off. Check in-store and online. Brooks Glycerine and Adrenaline 22 GTS save 20%. Asics Keanu 29, Asics GT 2011 save 20%. Get ready for the summer and save 20% off your favourite kids' Asics trainers. Look the part, play the part. In-store and online. Click and collect on bmcsports.ie.
Donegal Vintage Club are having a tractor and vintage and classic car run this Sunday the 25th in Ramelton. €20 per tractor or car with registration at 12 noon at the quay, followed by refreshments. Proceeds in aid of Care of the Aged, the RNLI and local charities. This ad is sponsored by Worski's Eurospar and Ice Cream Parlour Ramelton.
Looking for a good night's sleep? Restex Beds has you covered. Located at Mountaintop Letterkenny. They are the best in the Northwest to get a quality bed or mattress. Come visit them today and wake up feeling rested and refreshed. Restex Beds, Mountaintop, Letterkenny.
Okay, now we have the end of the... Thanks again to the lads for calling up. We got Seamus in for a picture as well. Just different generations, isn't it? Seamus won it 40 years ago. Callum and Noel won it this year. And that 40-year gap bridged with a photograph. That'll be up on our social media very shortly. Fair play to the guys. All right. Hi, Greg. Rally supporters stayed in Holiday House besides me. You would not know they were there. Out early in the morning, in late at night, and they were great. Congratulations to Callum Devine and Noel O'Sullivan on achieving their lifelong ambitions. Though the life is not that long. Do you know there comes a point, and I don't mean this patronising and full of praise, where do you know you would aspire to do something like maybe be a rally driver or a footballer or something, and then you interview the guys that are at the top and they're so young and talented. But anyway, congratulations to Callum Devine and Noel O'Sullivan on achieving their lifelong ambition. Callum is an absolute gentleman and always gives freely of his time to the rally followers, even in the heat of the battle. Congratulations to the Donegal Motor Club on a fantastic and safe event. And indeed, and I would say particularly with the young people, because young guys and girls look up to the guys. They're their absolute heroes, and it's lovely that they give access there. Greg, compliments to the owners of a house we stood outside to watch the rally. They brought out tea, buns and chocolate. They could not do enough. Their hospitality was second to none. A spectator from Killarney who acknowledges this, saying it was unbelievable. That comes in from John. John, great. Hopefully you had a great time. And that is the kind of hospitality you can enjoy up here, of course. Hi Greg, I was in Letterkenny on Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and not a lot of guards on the road, only Sunday, and they were standing smoking and chatting to each other. I don't like people being categorised like that, were they really? But anyway, listen, I appreciate it, but I read it anyway, okay, to each other. The rally brings out revenue to Letterkenny economy. Without it, a lot of business would not survive. Yes, there is some antisocial behaviour and There are some bad people and don't know how to use the bin, but I'm sure it's a small price to pay as long as everyone is safe. Thanks, Greg. And that's the thing. We got through Monday and we're talking about all the competitors, and we shouldn't underestimate either the nervousness for the competitors' families as well, because it's a dangerous sport, and we've had our all too shocking and sad reminders of that. So when we get all of the rally crews home and safe, we get all the spectators home and safe, and hopefully now all the people that came up to different events get home and safe. That's a big tick for me as well. People driving around all day and night for the rally have cars. Those can hold things like rubbish while they drive it 2 kilometres towards a bin 2 hours later. No need to drop it on the ground. There's no need for anyone to litter at any time, is there? Go anywhere in Europe and you'll find bins everywhere. In my town, they took away bins and have replaced them. Have not replaced them. It's not just the rally that causes the traffic problems in Letterkenny. In this country, we blame everything on the people who come to enjoy these events instead of looking at primary cause. Bins, there seems to be a policy that bins attract rubbish and they're taken out of places. That to me is an admittance that you're not going to clean them, really. You're not going to empty them, so you don't have the resources to empty them. So what do? You don't put them there in the first place. Crazy. Wait till all the cars go electric. Some noise, please. Can you imagine? I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Tell the begrudgers to get over it. It was a great weekend. There are traffic jams in Letterkenny every day. That's a point. There is, isn't there? It's not like it's all free-flowing traffic outside a rally weekend. All the shops, not all the shops, but some shops, they suggest put up prices for beer for rally weekend. Would they do that? I don't know. Maybe there's extra costs. It seems a little unfair if that's what was happening. And I just want to give you a perspective into how busy this show can be here. We've got pages and pages and pages of comments, and I think sometimes when I don't get to a comment, people think we edit them. We don't. We read them all, unless there's something defamatory in there, of course. But I read the ones that are critical of the programme. I generally don't read the ones that are praising of it, but that's just to give the balance. I'm going to go through some comments on different things now, just as we head up towards the news at 12. We are all well on our way to becoming part of NATO. The refugees coming into Ireland are the new front line for this EU army. The government know the Irish aren't going to allow their boys and men to be allowed to become cannon fodder. It would be political annihilation. Nobody would support such a thing. I don't go with you on that one, but I appreciate your comment. 4 hand-picked panels of pro-war professionals. This is a major gaffe by the government, I hope. Would we hear all this negativity after the Northwest 200? No, we wouldn't. All they want is for the young people to spend their money all weekend. Closing car parks, which is blocking the streets. Letterkenny not very welcoming. A caller says they were stuck at the Manor Roundabout to try and get up to the hospital and was stuck in traffic for 2 hours, missed visiting hours, guards standing on the road, arms folded. What was the point in the guards being there if they weren't going to do anything about the traffic? Another, opening up the car parks, a good idea, but who's going to clean up afterwards? A caller's front garden was littered with her hanging baskets broken and destroyed in Letterkenny. This is the side of the rally that is an absolute disgrace, and it's the same every year with nothing being done about it. Another, we live on the main road between Bridgend and Fawn, and what we had to listen to all weekend was a disgrace. The noise of cars at all hours of the day and night. Their driving and speeding was a total disgrace. And again, the criticism of the Gardaí, not a guard to be seen. Thank God it's over, they say. I was just listening to the news, and it seems that a Fianna Fáil TD was complaining about Michael D having an opinion on Irish neutrality. What's the point in having a president if he can't have an opinion? Maybe it's time to get rid of the president and Fianna Fáil for that matter, because this government is going to get Ireland in a whole heap of trouble. We know now what the Ukraine people are suffering with the war. We had 3 days of noise and baking. Ukraine has this banging for the last year and it's more dangerous, so we've nothing to complain about at all, says a listener. Another, did the closure of half of the business parks add to the traffic issues? I thought it was very unwelcoming to our visitors to see many closed off. Why not do like the car park in McDonald's and fence it off so you could only park and not do any diffing? Another half of the issue at the weekend is the town simply couldn't take the volume of traffic. That's the council issue. We don't forward plan our roads. Any other town would warmly welcome this massive crowd for 3 days. And last one, because it's the only one we have time for, the rally is 72 hours. Come on, people, we cry about young people. Here was a large group of boys and girls who were very proud of their cars and spend a lot of money on them. Where's the harm? Considering the large crowds, I think the volume who were misbehaving was very, very minimal. Or some might say the detection was minimal. But again, it depends on what side of the argument you come down on. I want to thank Caroline Orr, who researched and produced the programme. Niamh Shields working hard on the show as well. Stay tuned. John Breslin is coming up around the northwest. But for me, Greg Hughes, have a great day. Chat to you tomorrow. It is 12 noon. Time for a news update. And it's good afternoon to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good afternoon. The HSE says it is aware of an ongoing investigation